This is regular board meeting of October 16, 2025. It's now 5:48. I know that board president is on his way, as well as board clerk Lorena Chavez on her way. So could we begin a roll call?
President Doe on his way, Vice President Lay,
Here?
Clerk Chavez is on her way, Member Herrera,
Here.
Member Cortese.
Here.
Thank you.
Yes, now we don't have any speaker. We recess to the closed session.
We have no online public comment nor in-person public comment.
Oh, public comment? No, all right. Thank you, Mary. Let's recess for the closed session.
Welcome to the boardroom inside Yuen High School District. We'll start with the open sessions with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge the United States of America. One nation under God, indivisible. All right. Welcome to the regular board meeting of October 16, 2025. Members of the public, please submit your public comments as follows. In-person public comment may be made in person in the boardroom by filling out a public speaker request form located at the entrance of the meeting room. It looks something like this. You may raise your virtual hand in Zoom to request to speak and offer comment in real time. You will have 2 minutes to speak. You may also submit comment electronically online before or during the meeting, 1,000 character limit, by accessing agenda link to the form on the district homepage. Please reference the agenda item numbers in your written comment. Please note, regular inspection meetings of the Board of Trustees and the Board study sessions are streamed live on meeting night and also available for viewing the day after the meeting by accessing the district YouTube channel listed on the district webpage at ESUHSD.org under the quick link sections. The board is not able to respond to items that are not on the agenda or any personnel issues. The board is not able, the comment will be read into the record and will be directed to the superintendent and or the appropriate staff member for response. Interpretations of meeting in Spanish and Vietnamese can be heard by accessing the link and following the instructions shown on the agenda and the district website. All right. Item 5.0. The superintendent and all board member may request that item be removed from the agenda for considerations and or carried to a future board meeting for considerations and all actions. And that the board take actions on a regular meetings on a subject not listed on the public agenda on emergency basis or the basis allowed by law. Government Code 549-54.2. Superintendent, do you have any requests?
No requests from administration.
Hearing none, seeing none. 6.01. Springport Sport, starting with Andrew Hill High School. Perhaps our superintendent like to tell us a little bit about our wonderful students. Starting with Andrew Hill, but that's not all. That's not all. Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Good evening, everybody. How you doing? All right. Okay, listen.
Let's go.
Friend. Come on. Come on, you got some proud parents in here. You've got some coaches that want to brag and flex and are trying not to, right? And you've got some students that last spring were excellent in the classroom, stayed after school and practiced, figured out how to do finals and apply for colleges and other things like that, or get those letters back and decide where they're going, plan for the future, still be nice to their parents, show up the next day and do it all over again. And then every once in a while would show up and win games. And man, did these teams win. You have in this room tonight a great collection of supportive parents fostering coaches, and excellent student athletes. And even before we name them, just the fact of that alone, let's give this room a round of applause, please. And it doesn't end, because a lot of the athletes that won these championships in the spring have already done good things in fall and are going to be competing in, you get the idea, in winter sports coming up, which is why we're going to start with Yerba Buena High School, because their sports meeting for winter starts in 20 minutes, and we need to get you over there. All right, so let's start by talking about the good, the Warriors of Yerba Buena High School. Yerba Buena High School, can we please ask coach, administration, and athletes? Wow. Blossom Valley Athletic League champions in the West Valley Division for boys swimming and diving. Congratulations. Come on up. If you're a person that's turning to the person next to them and going, you or me, the answer is both. Come on up. Wow. That's right. Boy, these Dodger fans can't help but put it in our face, can they? Look at this. Love it. Who would you like to be? We do love our pictures here at Eastside, so tighten up and let's get into frame. Parents, feel free to come up and take your photo. So I don't know what's in the water over there at YB, but good things happen in it. Blossom Valley Athletic League champions, West Valley Division, girls swimming and diving from Yerba Buena High School. Congratulations. Come on up. You mind standing there for a second? Okay, cool fact. And we need to make sure that all of our 20,000 students knew this. Our captain from last year graduated. He's currently attending San Jose City. And let's remember also the Spartan Eastside Promise available to all our students. Meet those A through G requirements, 2.5 GPA, apply by November 30th. You're in. Congratulations. Awesome. Thanks for coming back. All right. Congratulations, YB. Go Falcons. Let's bring forward now that I can see. This is pretty amazing. I'd like to ask from Andrew Hill High School, Emily Pham and Do Huynh, check this out. Mount Hamilton Division Blossom Valley Athletic League mixed doubles champions in badminton, 7th in the Central Coast section, and California Interscholastic Federation qualifiers. Awesome work. Tell me where they're at now. One's working. Fantastic. So one's already at university, and the other one's working. We're doing good things. All right. Hey, Principal Hernandez, if you could come up and accept these awards on their behalf, that'd be wonderful. Evergreen Valley. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. The whole thing. Blossom Valley Athletic League, Mount Hamilton Division champions, badminton from Evergreen Valley High School. Come on up. Look at this stuff. It's okay. It's like team's not here, and it's like, that's okay. They're in college, they're doing good things, but coach is here to receive. Congratulations. Are there any Sixers here? I know of one. Blossom Valley, what's that? Yeah, Bjorn too. Blossom Valley Athletic League champions, West Valley Division, Independence High School softball champions. All right, my friends. Mount Pleasant. Are the Cardinals here? Yay. All right. All right, let's start with West Valley Division, Blossom Valley Athletic League champions, boys golf from Mount Pleasant High School. Okay, don't go away, Mount Pleasant. That's all right. I love this sports too much not to name it. Check this out. Let's do both teams at once. This is amazing. Champions of the West Valley Division, Blossom Valley Athletic League, Mount Pleasant were the champions in both boys and girls track and field last year. Congratulations. So you get to do that. You get to do that. All right. Congratulations, Cardinals. Pirates. All right. They're great. All right. Okay, here we go. Mount Hamilton Division of the BVAL champions badminton. Awesome. Yeah. Congratulations. But let's not stop there. Santa Teresa Division, Blossom Valley Athletic League champions, baseball, also Piedmont Hills. Is baseball in the house? Awesome. They're all graduating. That's good. We love that. All right, here we go. Santa Teresa Division, Blossom Valley Athletic League champions, in both boys and girls track and field. Go Pirates, my goodness. Look at your principal just passing out certificates like. All right. Santa Teresa, the athletes are all doing other things tonight, but we do have our principal here. So let's announce this. My goodness, you had a good year. Let's give some love and respect to the Mount Hamilton Division BVL champions in boys track and field, Mount Hamilton Division BVL champions in boys golf, Santa Teresa East Division champions of the BVL in badminton. And check this out. Congratulations to Alyssa Cutforth, California Interscholastic Federation state qualifier in swimming and diving. Amazing. Come on up. Some Raiders left our hearts and moved to Las Vegas, but others stayed right here and won championship. Check this out. Yeah, it looks like we got our starting 9 back by the size of this group here. All right. Let's give a warm round of applause and some whoops and all that for the West Valley Division Blossom Valley Athletic League champions of Silver Creek High School baseball team. Hey, Silver Creek, thanks for staying to the end, showing us that there is a beauty and a strength and unity with all you together. That's fantastic. Be about it again this year. Get those grades, get those wins, stack those wins, and we'll see you again next year. All right. Thanks, everybody. Round of applause for our student athletes.
When I was in high school, I've been in this room a few times, but it was definitely not for sport. So this is probably the closest thing I would ever get to get an athletic award. But I'm proud of our athletes, and thanks for our coaches and our principals for all the sacrifices that you have made to make it possible for our kids to achieve this award and the success in life. So thank you very much for all your hard work. All right. Item 7.01. Other than Lay, Student Governing Board Representative.
Good evening, everyone. The Student Governing Board, as of right now, we are working on our allergens project still. And we may, is it still on? Oh, okay. And we may collaborate with the South Bay Youth Changemakers. They will be coming in as guest speakers to our next meeting and will be presenting a project to us, which is really exciting. I also just want to extend my congratulations to all of the sports teams. It's very inspiring to see how so many of them were champions at BVALs. Thank you.
Thank you. 801, discussion and action to approve issuance of notice of violation to Escuela Popular Excellent Family Learning Center pursuant to Educational Code Section 47607. We'll start with presentation by our staff. I believe that's correct.
Yeah, we'll start with the presentation from staff, and then the Escuela Popular, their staff has asked if they could have some time to give some perspective as well as you make this decision. I want to make sure we're clear with our community that tonight is a vote on moving forward with a notice of violation. Tonight is not a night for the revocation of that school's charter. I want to make sure that if anybody is here holding, if that's what's happening tonight, that's not the case. But we do want staff to make sure the opportunity to how we got here, why, what the next steps are. And then Escuela Popular would have an opportunity to get their perspective as well. And there are two items that are very similar in nature, and we'll see how we manage that together. All right, thank you very much.
Try to raise this. Bjorn Berg, Director of Assessment Accountability, Charter School Oversight. With me, I've got.
Good afternoon, Philip Gideon, Coordinator of Charter School Oversight.
Everybody, Bill Schutz with Dennis Oliver Kelly, Council for the district.
So I was having trouble with this, forgive me. So notice of violation pursuant to Education Code Section 47607, Escuela Popular Accelerated Family Learning Center, bring forward tonight. So yes.
My senior citizen ears just don't keep up with fast talking.
Okay,
So if you could
sorry.
slow it down a little bit, please.
You got it. You got it. Okay. All right. So a little bit of background. The petition was established for the establishment of Escuela Popular was originally granted in 2002. We got a lot of acronyms. There are two schools, but EPAFLC at Family Learning Center was designated as a low-performing charter school by CDE, which only permitted its charter to be renewed for a 2-year term. So on May 8th, 2025, District Board conditionally approved the petition to renew the school's charter for a 2-year term from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027. The school is operated and governed independently by Escuela Popular del Pueblo, a California nonprofit public benefit corporation, and its board of directors. District and EPA-AFLC also entered into a memorandum of understanding effective July 1st, 2025 regarding the operations and oversight of the charter school. So as a charter authorizer, we came and presented this a little while ago, a couple of obligations. District has oversight obligations required by Education Code regarding charter schools under its authorization. Oversight responsibility, place ensure that each charter school under the district's authorization is operating in compliance with the conditions, standards, and procedures set forth in their charter, meeting requirements of law, meeting or pursuing pupil outcomes identified in its charter, and engaging in sound fiscal practices. Charter revocation grounds. charter may be revoked by its charter authorizer if it is found through a showing of substantial evidence that the charter school did any of the following. Committed a material violation of any of the conditions, standards, or procedures set forth in the charter, failed to meet or pursue any of the pupil outcomes identified in the charter, failed to meet generally accepted accounting principles, or engaged in fiscal mismanagement, or violated the law. So tonight, notice of violation, it potentially the first step in revocation process, must be delivered to the charter school 72 hours before the district board meeting at which the district board of trustees will consider whether to issue the notice of violation. Notice of violation must identify the alleged violations, grounds for revocation, and all evidence relied upon in making the determination, and must identify a reasonable remedy period for the charter school to remedy or refute identified violations.
So as Bjorn was pointing out, there are certain obligations as an authorizer, including ensuring the charter is compliant with the law and with its charter. The district staff found that EPAFLC failed to comply with teacher credentialing requirements, which is a legal requirement, and is laid out in the notice of violation that's before you tonight. Staff determined that a significant percentage of their teachers do not possess a appropriate teaching credential and an EL authorization for their teaching assignment, and therefore it's not in compliance with the education code. It's a big one. The other finding is that the charter has violated the law as outlined in that notice of violation by failing to ensure that all of its teachers hold a valid teaching credentials with appropriate EL authorization for the teaching assignment. This is what it says in the charter itself that this board renewed this last May. So there was some flexibility around for charters prior to effective July 1, 2025. The law changed in 19 to really take away some of the flexibilities around having non-credentialed teachers and non-core subjects. So as of now, the law is that all their teachers, this is consistent with what the law requires.
I want to be clear on what you said about the law changed. I don't understand that.
So there was a change in education code, section 47605, about where now it says, they even pointed out here that teachers that were employed previously were given a certain grandfathering period to come into compliance and have the certificate required for their assignment. Well, that flexibility went away effective July 1 of this last summer. So now the law is what I pointed out in the last slide here, that they're required to hold. This is straight from the education code that I'm referencing, that, excuse me, they must hold the CTC certificate, permit, or other document required for their teaching certificate assignment. So that flexibility went away. They're really held to the same standards that we are as a school district to have fully credentialed teachers. So with that, those were the two main violations that are identified in notice of violation, all tied to teacher credentialing. One was violation of the charter, and one was a violation of that ed code section I pointed out.
Alrighty, so this is going to be a looking back process and a looking forward to this school year. So we want to make sure that we're all grounded on the why. The notice of violation clearly states effectively July 1, we were expecting 100% of all of their teachers to be credentialed. I want to remind all of you the process that we went through last year with charter renewal. We identified through the process that the state identified AFLC as a low-tiered school. In order for us to approve of their charter petition last year, we needed to make factual findings. Those findings needed to be rooted in the root cause of their low performance. They wrote a program improvement plan where one of their identified areas was teaching credentialing. They specifically noted that a correlation occurred around their program for math instruction. They noticed that in their middle school math, a teacher was appropriately credentialed and their student outcomes were higher than the teachers who were not appropriately credentialed. So in their program improvement plan, they reflected on they wanting to have 100% of their teachers fully credentialed. And then another goal was to support those teachers through rigorous professional development that they've identified to ensure that they were capable and ready to perform their charter petition around a dual language program. So that is the school that we approved because of those factual findings. So we are now here 3 months into the school year because we found that they're not in compliance at AFLC of that initial approval that you gave them last year, but also of the law that we just cited. In order for us to arrive at that, we've done that through two processes. One is looking at public information that they submitted to their board regarding emergency credentials, who they have identified as being eligible for an emergency credential, as well as looking at their current student information system called Power School to see who did they assign teachers to, and do those teachers at that moment, which is September 18th, that we did this analysis, do they possess the credentials in order to be in the assignment that they were assigned in Power School? So what we have right here is to give you a fast forward. We renewed them. The law changed July 1. And then we did an analysis of where their SIS was at the beginning of the school year. So
October,
on September 18th.
on September 18th.
Correct. So all of you have, and it was part of the board packet, this spreadsheet that lists all of the teachers for Escuela Popular. It's not just the teachers for Escuela Popular Accelerated Family Learning, because many of their teachers teach in both schools. So we wanted to give you a comprehensive list that reflects why we are now at the notice of violation tonight. So you will see in column 1, the last name of the staff member. You will see in column 2, the first name. You will see what we've identified by their student information system, which school, if both, they are affiliated with. What is the assignment that was listed in Power School? What was the teaching credential that we were able to identify on the California Teaching Commission's website? This is a public-facing website that you can go to and look up any educator, including myself, to see what are the credentials we have, when were they issued, and when do they expire. We do this process to ensure that the assignment that was given to the educator matches the teaching credential that's given to the educator by the California Teaching Commission. The EL authorization becomes extremely important in AFLC because of their unique charter.
Just so that those who don't understand our alphabets, EL stands for?
English learner. So because we're in a diverse community, the state has required every educator to possess a credential or an authorization that allows them to teach our EL population. So at EPAFLC, having bilingual authorization for TK to 8th grade is a requirement that was set forth in the charter petition that you just renewed in May. Traditional schools, you would need to have what we call a CLAD authorization. It's a general authorization that allows you to teach any English language learner in the state of California. But when you are saying that the primary instruction that you're delivering is in a specified language, that is where we call the bilingual CLAD is important. So when we do our analysis of Escuela AFLC, we have to not only say, do you have the appropriate teaching credential? Do you have also the appropriate English language learner credential? So if you have the appropriate teaching credential, you will see we've noted that in that column, what we were able to identify by CTC, the California Teaching Commission website. You will see if we were able to identify an appropriate English language learner authorization. We then identified, is it a fully credentialed educator? Is it a partial credential educator? Or is it a substitute that they are placing in the absence of being able to fill a full-time classroom position? With that, we then note in our findings column, what are the areas that we have questions about? What are the areas that we need to follow up with the charter school about? So that then it can be an opportunity for them to resolve or to cure the questions or the areas that we've identified that were in discrepancy. Columns needed credential 1 and needed credential 2 identifies what we think, once again, what we can find on the website or what's provided to us by the charter school, we could make a recommendation to say, hey, we think this person could be eligible for this credential. So our HR specialists will meet with their HR specialists during the oversight process to have this conversation. You will see that we have additional notes. Those notes could come from any documents that they have submitted to us prior to this analysis, or it could come from our notes from the previous school year, because this was an area of concern that we noted in their staff findings and was part of the presentation that we gave to you in May. So I want to pause there just to see if there are any questions about understanding our thorough review as of September 18th of what we were able to identify in Escuela Popular AFLC.
I believe that the September 18th findings were updated, and we're going to be getting to that.
So we have an updated list that we provided the board, but once again, we will be going to the school site in 2 weeks, and we've communicated to the school site that that is the time that we would do another round of a deeper analysis, because that then corresponds with their site visit.
Yeah. And my understanding had also been that Escuela Popular in their plan for addressing these issues had indicated September 29th as the time for to do what instead was done September 15th. Nevertheless, there's been updated information from both of those dates, September 15 and September 29. So we don't have to quibble much about those dates and data, because we have updated is what we're going to be learning in my understanding.
So you're absolutely right. There's going to always be updates real time. The way the law is written around going through our MOU, we've given 4 rounds of concerns that have elevated in concerns. We're going to review that in a moment. We noted in the notice of violation that they have a 30-day window to give us the most accurate and most up-to-date data set that then could cure this notice that we've created, or it could raise other concerns that we're not yet aware of because we have not yet entered into the formal oversight process where we do this deeper analysis live when we go to the school site to make sure that what we are seeing in practice in classrooms matches what we have on paper. But we did provide the board today, to my understanding, 15 additional names that we are in the process of clearing this list. There's still additional names that we have not been provided information on that could be provided after you issue, hopefully, the notice of violation, which is a part of that timeline to make sure that they do come into compliance with the law as of July 1. So at the bottom of the chart that you were provided is an auto count that we've done, and we've highlighted the most critical areas for you to review tonight. So when you look at the list that we provided you, once again, all of our evidence is coming from the website that the California Teaching Commission tells every district. You review our website. We do not provide certification slips anymore, which they used to when I first started. Now you have to go to the website and they track with a date to let you know how caught up they are on all of the applications. So you will see the middle column where we have the credential status. That is the goal of 100%. So because the teachers are shared in both schools and because their FTE is not a 1.0, clearly the best way right now to capture this information is to look at all of the teachers who have been identified in their SIS, meaning their student information system, Power School, who's been allocated a classroom and who has been allocated to be the primary giver of instruction. So we have identified 53 of those individuals in their system. We identified that 26 of those individuals, we did not have any information at that time of our review that we could definitively say the California Teaching Commission has authorized them to be the primary giver of instruction. We identified that at the time, there were only 2 subs who had sub-credentials that would allow them to be the case carrier for 30 days. That means on the 31st day, if that educator is in that room, that the organization will be out of compliance because that credential is not a long-term permit, that only allows them to be the giver of instruction for 30 days. So we would need to go back to the charter school to identify what is their plan and what is their evidence that they are adhering to that 30-day cycle so that we can ensure that they are in compliance of the Ed Code. The 2 charts at the bottom, the second one on the left is going to be the teaching credential type. So we would need to classify what is the credential that they have. And is that credential appropriate for the assignment that they've been authorized by their principal to teach? So I can have a credential, say math. I'm authorized to teach any math course and up to some electives that my school may offer. However, I'm not allowed to teach outside of my content area with just my single subject math credential. There are cases, which you will see in that chart, where people are teaching potentially courses that would be outside of the scope of the credential that they were authorized. A known example is an elementary teacher who has a single subject chemistry teacher, but may be assigned to teach kindergarten, first grade, or second grade. There's a way to get an emergency credential for a short-term year-long opportunity. But if the organization has not done that, they would be considered out of compliance because they do not have a credential for the assignment that they were given for that school year. So that column may not necessarily match the fully credentialed column. Because in order to be fully credentialed, you have to, once again, have your EL authorization to teach students of English language learner background. And you need to have the teaching credential that matches your grade level of the subject that you've been assigned. The chart on the far bottom right is going to let you know, as a school that is operating with the most vulnerable groups of students in our community, those are our newcomers. This is going to capture how many of those educators, according to the website, has an EL authorization. You can get an emergency EL authorization to be compliant with the law. We may have a future conversation at a later meeting potentially on, does that meet the spirit though of the charter petition that this particular school has written regarding the needs in the areas of service to this community? But we, for this number, will count emergency EL authorization, whether it's called a B clad or a regular clad. So they would be represented in that number at the time of our review. So this is the source of the data that we use to show to all of you as board members the concern that we have and why we believe the notice of violation is critical at this point, because we have gone through a series of communications with the charter school and we have not yet been able to resolve the concerns that have been identified in each of the letters of communication. So once again, when we think about the levels of violation, we just sort of talked about the idea that there's law and there's a charter petition and then there's their MOU. And they all match the expectation of being fully credentialed when we had the conversation during renewal in May. So just to remind all of you on our MOU process. So we have outlined a process that we will communicate with all of our charter schools when there is ever a concern that has resonated to our attention. The first step in our process is just to bring the concern to the attention of the charter school operators. So we call that a statement of concern or a notice of concern. Usually, which we presented at the beginning of the school year, we resolve those issues with our charter schools. They respond with the solutions that they are putting into practice to address the concerns that we've identified. As an authorizer, our responsibility is not the how. We do not dictate to our charter schools how to resolve the issues that we've identified. We just communicate to them the issues and then the deadline for how we would like those issues to be resolved by. The second notice that we have is called a notice of deficiency. This requires our charter schools to take immediate action to address the concerns that were identified in the first letter. So we give them an additional time to hopefully resolve the challenges that were identified. In item number 3, which is called the charter probation phase, this requires, once again, an immediate action. In addition to that, the charter school has been put on notice that now they're entering an heightened sense of oversight. We identify in our MOU the increased oversight could look in the form of additional monitoring days, tools. It could be getting access to additional platforms, such as what we did around their student information system. It could be reducing enrollment. It could be putting a staff person on their board to ensure that the actions of the board is in alignment to the charter petition and law. We outlined the steps that we were identifying in their charter probation letter that resulted in them communicating directly with the district regarding credentialing applications, because we have an opt-in approach at our district regarding whether charters go through the district to apply for emergency credentials or go through directly to the county. So you will see in one of our communications to Escuela that we felt that we were not kept into the loop appropriately at their decision to go directly to the county to seek these emergency credentials, which does not give us the opportunity to know definitively if our issues have been resolved. So one of the mandated outcomes of the probation letter stated that they needed to now come directly to us. That allows us to closer monitor their status of credentialing, in which is the letter that you saw from our HR specialist as of yesterday, where we've identified the 15 staff persons that were either applied through the county, and we were not aware of that, or they were submitted to our HR specialist within the last month. So we are trying to bring the communication closer so we can have accurate data in real time in order to assess the status progress of our concern. The last one is identified in our MOU as the notice of violation, which formally sets the stage to potential revocation if we have not been able to obtain the appropriate information that leads us to identify whether the concerns have been cured. So I'm going to just pause right there just to see if there's any questions regarding how do we get to this point of the notice of violation and the different ways we've attempted to resolve these issues using our MOU process.
Well,
Yes.
I-
Oh.
I just want to be sure that I'm clear on this point that you're making, which is that you have attempted to identify and receive the necessary information for making determinations for every single person that is teaching there, and you've been unable to acquire or receive or get a response to everyone. And at this point, that number, depending on how you interpret it, can be one number or another, but it's significant. The number of people that you're saying, there just hasn't been the information provided, even though it's been requested. That's what I heard you say.
That is the position of staff at this time, and that is the position that you would notice in every letter that we reiterate the same desire to resolve these concerns by the requests that we've made of the charter school. Correct. So here is now the timeline. We want to make sure that not only do you know the process of our MOU, but we want to hopefully have you understand the timeline of how we've given ample opportunity without needing to get to this point, but now we're at this point. So this process started with last year's oversight. Last year's oversight left many questions regarding staffing. In the spirit of collaboration,
Say last year, you mean the last school year?
last school year, correct.
Got to make that clear.
My apologies. So last school year, we had an oversight visit that had several concerns that got resonated. In the spirit of partnership, we openly made ourselves available to a weekly check-in with their HR staff, which it started off in a very collaborative manner. And we were meeting, and you would see that in our communication emails, where we went back and forth throughout a series of communication regarding concerns. That series of email exchanges and meetings played for about a month. So from January to February, you will see a compilation of email communications that we've identified as a notice of concern regarding compliance issues at Escuela Popular. In March, before we got to the charter renewal process for AFLC, we issued a letter of deficiency, specifically regarding staff credentialing within AFLC. Once again, that came after our series of wanting to resolve these issues. Remember, deficiency is all about we are now immediately asking for action. So we outline our expectations regarding how to cure those areas of concern. In April, we gave all of you the presentation of staff findings, which also reflected the concerns around credentialing, and we draw factual findings from the that allowed us to believe that the organization was on track to curing those areas with goals and the plan they have set forth in their program improvement plan. In June, we received we have an email exchange that we included as evidence in our letters regarding teacher credentialing information. So those letters were in reflection to a public document that is called the Declaration of Need, California requires LEAs and charter schools to complete a direct declaration of need regarding emergency credentials. So the charter school has the ability to identify teachers who are not eligible for a fully credential. That means a preliminary credential, a clear credential, or a intern credential. So these are 1-year opportunities for teachers to teach while they work towards those types of more certifiable in terms of federal compliance in terms of credentialing. So we wrote a notice of concern stating to the effect of, you have identified a list of teachers that needed emergency credentials. You communicated through the renewal process that as of July 1, you were going to be in compliance with the new law. We are concerned about your ability to demonstrate that if it's going to be June 26th, that's in a couple of days. So we asked them to address the concerns that we identified. We then moved to July. July, we published a response to the letter of deficiency that we gave them in March. We utilized the information that they provided to us in their response, and we made an update. And we said, this is our final stance, our final position on the letter of deficiency that you responded to. We took whatever evidence that they provided, and we updated our response and said, once again, we've identified that you operated now the entire school year with these names identified in that response letter out of compliance. So that means the entire school year, students were in front of kids, attendance by non-credentialed teachers. There's nothing that we can do at that point. The school year is over. What we can do is look forward to the upcoming school year, and how we phrase the ending of that letter is, we reiterate our stance that effective July 1, you will be in compliance with 100% of teachers credentialed. We also communicated in our letter that teachers who are not in compliance should not be in front of students. If we find students that are in front of educators without the appropriate credentials, that's another finding of non-compliancy. So we ended last school year with a series of communications, according to our MOU process, that outlined our findings and restated numerously our expectations for the school year. This timeline now reflects communication this school year. So the first communication now is to follow up on the second declaration of need. So instead of responding to the notice of concern regarding the declaration of need and addressing the issues that we've identified, we noticed that there was a public document that had a revised declaration of need. We responded with another letter. We had questions about the change in the number of teachers. We had questions about, it's now July 22nd, and effective July 1, 100% of all staff who received contracts and were going to be in front of students should have been fully credentialed. August the 6th, we sent a letter indicating they failed to meet the deadline. I want to remind you all that we approved with the program improvement plan. There was a verbal communication at that meeting. They were going to comply with the law. We issued several notices, and they failed to meet the deadline to reply. So that is this communication. August the 29th, we felt that we've exhausted the notices of concern, that we've exhausted the letters of deficiency, that we had to now place AFLC on charter probation. So we identified what the terms were of charter probation and our expectation to comply immediately with EdCode, with their charter petition, and with the verbal promise to all of you that they were going to be in compliance. We reiterated the expectation that none of the teachers identified in any of the previous letters should be in a primary role of delivery of instruction. And that if we were to do a school visit that's unannounced or announced through the oversight process, that they would be out of compliance if we found those educators in classrooms. At the same time, we issued a notice of concern regarding instructional minutes and attendance accounting reporting. All of you have been aware that there were irregularities that we've identified in last year's oversight process that raised significant concerns. We went out and identified a third-party consultant to do another analysis that was independent of our own findings. That analysis came back with a higher level of concern than what we found in our oversight process. We communicated that to the charter and to the operating board of Escuela Popular, and we asked them to make immediate actions to address concerns that were identified. And so that is this communication that was given on August the 29th. September the 17th, we have a correspondence to Escuela Popular regarding a failure to sufficiently respond to the letter of probationary status that we sent them. They did not identify to the satisfactory of the district the resolution of the concerns identified in the probationary status letter. That was provided to all of you as part of the notice of violation that you've received for today's meeting. On October the 2nd, we informed them officially that there is a notice of deficiency regarding now the corrective action plan that they've identified to address and to cure the concerns that we've identified continuously along the way of the school year. So when we think about the why, once again, how do we land on a notice of violation? It's because we have exhausted every level within our MOU process, and we felt that the organization was not responding sufficiently and immediately to the concerns regarding the violation of law, their charter petition, and our MOU. So what does this look like in terms of numbers of staff? This analysis chart reflects the legal requirement. We have no flexibility as a district to give any of our charters the ability to say you do not need to have compliancy to this law. As an oversight agent, it's our responsibility through our oversight process to ensure that the autonomy that this board has given their schools, that they are operating in compliance of that law. Review 1, the declaration of need. On the 6th and 16th, we identify that 16 or 20 teachers listed for emergency permits were questionable on whether or not they could meet the requirements to receive those credentials. We issued a notice of concern around that. On July the 28th, we identified another revised list. That list had approximately 34 teachers for emergency permits. We responded with a letter of concern. Fast forward to our second review, Q1 master schedule for AFLC. We noticed on the 18th that 35 out of the total 53 teachers, once again, On the declaration of need, it was not indicated which school these individuals were teaching in. So we could not provide you with the data of what percent of teachers were going to be potentially out of compliance, because the declaration of need originally only had one school that was representing both sites. So we identified that a total of 66%, which is the chart that you have in front of you, could potentially be out of compliance, meaning that the class we saw assigned to them in Power School, there was not a corresponding teaching credential or English language learner authorization that was needed for that teacher to be assigned to that classroom. So you hopefully see a progression in terms of our willingness to collaborate as a district, the attempt that we've made to communicate formally throughout the MOU process, and to the point where we are now presenting in front of you why we believe the notice of violation is the appropriate next step to formally cure the concerns around the 100% fully credentialed educators at the school of AFLC. So this slide just reminds you of what we just talked about in terms of the notifications, the acknowledgement of EP throughout the process of the renewal of AFLC, of the July 1, their commitment to be fully credentialed. And then we have the second bullet where we now are at the point of needing to exercise this notice of violation because we feel that prior communications did not result in the organization to fully address the concerns that we just captured. We recommend a remedy period that goes beyond the 30-day legal minimum requirement of the state. We identified that November 17th was an appropriate length of time because the organization has been put on notice since last school year. They made a commitment to all of you in May that they were going to be in compliance. They were working on it, and that they were going to have all of the necessary credentialing by the start of the school year. So we are requesting that they officially respond to our concern and give us the most up-to-date information or to refute our findings as part of the process of the notice of violation. So our action today as a request is for all of you to approve of the notice of violation as the next step to appropriately address their commitment and the commitment of their charter petition to EdCode to be in full compliance as soon as possible per the July 1 mandate that we already addressed earlier.
So could you clarify that Escola Popular have to fulfill the 53 position as has the teaching credential and credential status and EL authorization type? Could you clarify that, or
Every one of their teachers should have the appropriate, every one of the teachers should have the appropriate credential and EL English language authorization for their assignment for this year. And that's what we're seeking.
so they have to comply by November 17, 2025?
We are asking that as the end of the cure period for a notice of violation. If you approve that, we want to get that information. We want to make sure they're 100% compliant and they're appropriately serving their students.
So, so staff is so working with the Escola Popular administrator
Yes,
to see that all of those finding will be solved, right?
that is the request. That is what the cure period is for, to either refute or provide the documentation showing that they are 100% compliant.
So after November 17, 2025, then
There's a period through which staff goes through that, what is provided for us by the 17th. And go ahead.
You know, speak to the process briefly. So once that remedy passes, the staff's going to be evaluating it and see, you know, what was in that response? Did they remedy it? Do they have a plan? Are they refuting it? Whatever it is, will be analyzed and brought back to this board with a recommendation on whether to proceed with the revocation process or not. It's, again, I think it was mentioned earlier, this is just a first step in the process, and there are off-ramps along the way if needed. So this isn't revoking the charter in any way. It's just formally getting to the stage where the MOU process has been exhausted, which is frankly more than charters are required to be provided by law. And formally noticing them of this violation and giving them opportunity to address it.
So November 17, 2025, staff could bring back or no report.
That is the end of the cure period.
So it'll be up to 60 days for another action to move it forward. So a recommendation will be brought back to this board before then.
The November 17 date, is there a time to respond to the district and to the notice? And then there's additional time for us to then evaluate and going forward. And to the point of the team is that it might be informational, it might be updates, but I also include any plans for action that they've identified to remedy this as quickly as possible, both in legal terms and in terms of the petition as a bilingual school.
So I have, thank you.
But just to be absolutely clear, the slide that was titled remedy period doesn't say they have to be fully credentialed by November 17 if the action is taken. It says addressing each identified violation, which shall include the refutation, remedial action taken, or proposed remedial action specific to each alleged violation.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
not
yes, sir.
saying they have to be fully credentialed by November 17.
That's correct. It's exactly what the regulation there states.
And then a 60-day period to analyze that, consider next steps forward, make a recommendation then to the board.
Yeah, and that next step is what's called a notice of intent to revoke, which is a next step in that process when there's a step of deciding whether to revoke past that. So this is really a first step and designed to give them an opportunity to respond and hopefully come into compliance with what staff has determined is a current violation of law and the charter.
I just have to say that I realized there would be a discussion tonight on a notice of deficiency or notice of violation. I didn't think it would be so linked to revocation. I didn't expect that word to be used much tonight. And it's really unsettling. So I'm understanding more this process. I'm understanding the staff presentation and material plus my own inquiries offline and so on. So here we are.
Be on multiple yellow pieces of paper. You want to present after the It's your choice. Essentially, they're going to take action individually. So they're going to take action on this item. So I would, I'm not telling you what to do, but I would probably suggest not waiting for the next item to occur before they take action.
There is an element of public comment, which we will not take action to that, but are you coming on 8.01, am I correct? Or are you present 801 or 802?
Your microphone.
So thank you.
801, yeah.
Yeah, this is the official charter school response, to be
Okay.
clear. Under the statute and regulations, we're entitled to an official response of equal time. So my name is Jerry Simmons. I'm an attorney and a partner with Young Minnie and Core. I'm proud to be here tonight with my colleague, Ellen Doty. We'll be representing Escuela Popular. By way of background, I worked for State Senator Gary Hart, who was chairman of the Education Committee here in California and who authored the Charter Schools Act. I've been representing a majority of this state's charter schools for more than 20 years. I also have a personal connection here to the city. I grew up here in San Jose. I was a student in San Jose Unified during a time that a tremendous number of immigrants were arriving from Mexico, Central America, Vietnam, and Laos. I watched as my friends in my classes received Fs on a number, if not all, of their assignments because they did not yet have the English skills to understand what was happening in class. They would cry during the lunch hour because it was very hard for them. Our teachers, in many cases, did not try to help them. And in some cases, it was apparent that the teachers actually resented having them in class because it, I think for them, in their view, created more work for them. The educational system here in the city needed a lot of work. These schools, Escuela Popular schools, were founded to help meet the needs of immigrant students like my friends. And I want you to know, right, that they have good purpose behind their desire to have teachers who are diverse. And all of the research shows that a diverse teaching staff leads to better student outcomes, regardless of the race or background of the students enrolled in their classes. We've come a long way since the days that I was in school. And what I want to say to you tonight is that all of the data says we cannot and should not go back to how things were here in the city when I was a student. But I want to make clear also that this is not on our part an emotional appeal to somehow get you to disregard any of what staff just told you or presented to you. It is also the board's goal of Escuela Popular, the staff's goal as well, to ensure that they have full legal compliance with all credentialing laws. They brought me aboard, and I've been working with them a few months ago because the correspondence between your staff and their staff, there was a lot, I think, of things misunderstood, a lot of things that were perhaps miscommunications, misunderstandings as they were attempting to communicate. And I'm not here tonight to put blame on anyone for that. I'm just here to say I think that is a reality emotionally, that was what was being felt. Right? But what I'm pleased to tell you tonight is that as of tonight, we believe every single teacher in the school has a credential, certificate, or permit entitling them to teach. The data that you saw from your staff, as you noted the date at the top of every one of those things, and as they told you, was tied to September 18th. The school has made a number of changes, applying for temporary county certificates, applying for emergency, various things, evaluating each teacher one by one to determine what is it that they needed in order to be able to teach. Okay. And because I heard the comment earlier about some struggle to get information or something, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know where that emotion is coming from your team. But what I want to tell you is that we have brought binders with us tonight. We have a copy for each one of you, board members. We have a copy for your staff. It is broken out by individual teacher, and behind each teacher's name is the credential, certificate, or permit that entitles them to teach in the state of California. We've done that because I want you to be able to see and read as a school board directly what those pieces of paper are. I want you to be able to see that the school is trying. It is trying, okay? We are working hard, trying to make this happen. And it is also, I want to make sure you understand, not accurate to think that we have done nothing in response to staff's concerns, okay? When some of these issues were raised, the school decided that it would attempt first to comply in a way that it thought was legally appropriate, and which frankly I think is legally appropriate, through the use of career technical education credentials for some of the teachers. Your staff disagreed that that was an appropriate cure. And so the school immediately pivoted, proposed to you the corrective action plan, and even before receiving response from your team about the corrective action plan, began to go through the process teacher by teacher to ensure every single person would have a credential, certificate, or permit entitling them to teach. And that's what we brought to you tonight. We also have with us in the audience teachers from the school. They are prepared to testify to you about what college they went to, what credential, certificate, or permit they've received that entitles them to teach, and what they're here to teach. I mean, we're prepared to bring all of this, right? We thought this was much better resolved in a meeting with your staff and legal counsel, because there are some very complicated legal questions at stake here. And although the two staffs have been meeting, those meetings have not included legal counsel from either side. And I think it has led to some difficulty getting this resolved. And so respectfully, we're asking that you would consider having a meeting between each staff with counsel present to go through this binder that we provided to you, teacher by teacher, case by case, to examine why it is we think that we have met the requirement. And so that your staff can then tell us, do you agree? And can we cross that person off the list of disputed people? Or do you do you disagree? And if so, why? We really need to understand why if you disagree. Because I believe standing here tonight as an expert in this field, that the school is now in compliance. And if you disagree for some reason, we genuinely want to know why so that we can address it. We want to address it. Okay, we're not trying to, this is not a game to this board, right? They're trying to address it. Okay, if your staff has any concerns after reviewing that information, right, what we would ask for, again, respectfully, is that you let us know right away so that we have the remainder of the cure period to work to address any unresolved issues. Okay, we really genuinely want to do that. In addition to getting all of the existing folks some sort of certificate or permit to entitle them to teach, right? The school board has also made a decision to retain a talent search firm to help them identify people who already have clear California credentials, okay? The school has also posted teaching positions on all of the relevant places like EdJoin, where you post. And it has already begun conducting interviews of people with clear credentials. Now, why are we doing that? Because we have some students right now being served by substitute teachers, and we don't want that. That's not a long-term plan. That's a short-term plan, right? So we want to fill those spots with permanent, clear, fully credentialed teachers, okay? The board of the school has also expressed its direction to staff that additional resources should be spent to accelerate to the maximum degree possible people who are in process of moving from a classified teacher position to a teaching position. They're in process of a credential program or some sort of program like that, to ensure that they can make it through that program as fast as possible. Okay. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Ellen. She is one of our credentialing experts. She has spent many years, as she'll describe to you, working with teachers on credential matters. And so she is going to go through with you the legal standards and why we think we've met those legal standards. Frankly, my ask, though, in closing from my piece of this is just to say, look, I feel like the intent of both parties is right. I feel like the desire and goal of both parties is the same. I feel like all we need to get to is we need to be in the same room with all the right people in that room so that we can literally go through person by person by person. And I really hope that regardless of whether you adopt this or not, that's our process to go forward, and that include counsel from both sides. Because again, there's very complicated legal issues, I think, that are involved in why some of these people do meet qualifications. And I'm not sure that all of that is being understood. And we just want to make sure that it's understood, because this is a very serious thing. You know, we have hundreds of students whose lives will be impacted. We have dozens of employees whose lives will be impacted by the decisions you're going to make going forward. And even just issuing this notice is obviously causing an enormous amount of upset for all those folks. So frankly, I would wish that you would delay this for one meeting and allow that meeting that I described to take place so that we could attempt to resolve this without it escalating in this way. But if not, again, just please, please, please make sure that we have all those right people in the room so that we can come to conclusion on these issues. I really believe we can get there together. I really do believe that. Ellen's going to take it from here with the
A
PowerPoint.
quick question.
Yes.
So is there information in this binder that is actually not known to our staff?
Well, that
Because
is information that is current as of today. So yes, there is information in there that your staff would be unaware of as of this board meeting tonight. Yes.
An example of that would be what?
So to the extent, for example, that a teacher was in process of receiving a temporary county certificate and one was awarded, that would be information that your staff would be unaware of, presumably, you know, because they're not in charge of making that decision whether to issue it or not.
I'm under the impression that there's been, if not formal meetings, at least conversations that have occurred within the last 7 days. And yet there's information that you say that is current as of like now, essentially.
Every day, this information changes because every day as teachers are making progress through the process, there are people who are moving. So maybe they're on an emergency permit initially, then they get a temporary county certificate that changes their status, right? Then they may be in a credentialing program, right? And that may move them then to another status, right? And so all of these things are not static for an entire school year, right? Each one of these people is an individual story about what's going on with them, why we think they've qualified, and that the reason they're qualified to teach is changing over time as they are going through these processes, right? And so that's one of the concerns here, right? Is I think we literally have to talk about each person as an individual case, right? To explain where they're at, what's going on with them, et cetera, right? So
I'm actually taking your time, so I won't ask any more questions right now.
No, I appreciate so much the question, so.
Trustee Cortese, and then
Yeah, I just would like to follow up on my colleague's question about, I mean, I don't have time to go through this right now, but what I understood, I heard Philip say earlier during his presentation was that there was information regarding a number of teachers that is unknown to the district in spite of requests for that information. And so I'm wondering, is that information in here? I think there's like 20 teachers or something that we don't seem to know anything about?
For every single teacher in the school, there is the credential, certificate, or permit behind that person's name in the binder. And that's why I brought it tonight, because I don't know what I can't really explain what the communications issues are. I don't really understand it, but I brought it because I want to not have that continue. I want to be in a situation where everyone in this room understands there's the information that we've brought, and we've brought it for every single teacher. I don't know how to get past this without a conversation where we literally go through, okay, you say you have concerns about 20 people. Give us their names. Let's walk through them in the binder one by one in a meeting. And you tell me, okay, you're concerned about John Smith.
I think we don't have their names is the problem. And so I'm asking, are those people that the staff has identified that as missing their name, are those people included in this binder?
Every single teacher at the school is included in the binder. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it getting it tonight. It would have been helpful to receive this earlier in the process, because I think the right people have been in the room, but without the correct information and accurate information. And I hear you use the word that you believe that everyone is. I'm hoping that the evidence will substantiate that. I'm also hoping that the data doesn't just substantiate a legal, we have a permit or a approval or some document that allows a person to be in a classroom for 30 days, but actually speaks to the purpose of that school, which is to lift up a community that is bilingual, emerging, needs additional supports, and not through the remedy of substitutes or lower educational offering, which I hear you tell me we're going to find when we see this, because you continue to say that you're willing to work to remedy the issue. What issues still need to be remedied beyond this information?
So this information, Mr. Superintendent, resolves legal compliance, which is the standard of this process.
In
As
terms
to
of the
your
petition and the quality of education, what does Escuela Popular identify as what continues to need remediation?
So as to your comment about that, the board of Escuela Popular, as you know, addressed this issue in its response to the district, and it provided direction to staff that it wants to have every single teacher have a clear credential, and that's the path they're on. Now, can they do all of that in the time period that the district gave them as a deadline? No, they couldn't do that. There was no conceivable way they could have done that in the timeline that was provided. So what I can tell you now is the board is engaged. That's why they posted the position. That's why they've hired a talent acquisition firm. That's why they are about the business of trying to accelerate people who are already in process toward a clear credential. Okay, they're doing all of those steps together, not one, but all of those things together with the goal of addressing your point, which is ensuring that there is quality. Now, I will also say, because I think this is important not to be lost, that your staff has been talking a lot about CLAD credentials and BCLAD credentials. And as you'll hear from some of the teachers who are here tonight, they are bilingual. And so the notion that someone who is fully bilingual is not able to provide a quality education to people, okay, I just reject that notion. And I would ask you to really seriously consider that it's not just pieces of paper, but what they can actually do that is relevant to that question of, are they able to serve this student population? You're talking about people who are immigrants themselves, who have lived the experience. Okay, they've lived it. They share the language, they share the culture, they have lived the experience. So to say that that person, because they're lacking a CLAD or BCLAD, right, and we've applied for some emergency and received some emergency permit to allow them to teach, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a perfectly highly qualified teacher.
Okay, I could be very good at math and not have a credential in that or not be authorized to teach that, but I don't want to get into the weeds on this, but I don't want to disparage any form of skill set or qualities that's within the existing staff. We do have to be legally compliant, but I also want to speak to the words of Escuela Popular. And the administration there created a program improvement plan. And in their words, their key findings were when they analyzed their own student data and put it up against their teachers' credentialing, their finding, page 24 of the documents here, is that fully credentialed staff with the appropriate certifications got higher student outcomes and more improved student outcomes than their own staff without it. Their words, not mine. I couldn't agree more. And I have long appreciated the homegrown philosophy. It has been in existence for over 30 years, which is why I'm not quite understanding why we have such a large number of people who haven't grown into that full credentialing. But just wanted to reiterate the fact that that's the Escuela Popular's own findings with their own student outcomes. And I believe, again, the right people in the room enough to know that we share the values of this community and to serve that community. But there are still, when we say we're a school, we do have to live by ed code. And if you want to take up the issue of BCLAD versus bilingual with the state, I'm all for it. It's just like, there's a lot of other issues that I would like to take up with the state, but that's where we are.
Mhm.
And there is training and there's progress, and that can be catered to the exact nature of this school that can help people obtain their BCLAD. And it's part of the petitions. It's written in. If we don't mean to abide by it, we shouldn't write it down. It is written. And part of this notice of violation is legal, and also in terms of the petition that was presented and asked for this body to renew last year. And when this body did that, it said, please provide a program improvement plan so we can ensure a quality education for every family and every student that sets foot on that campus. That
You're-
still needs to happen. And I hear in your presentation that you understand that there's still work to do. We're feeling a sense of urgency for that community, that not take years, that this happens now, because the community is being educated right now. I'm hoping that when I look at a certain name, when their credential was refuted by the state on October 1st, that I find that that's either been remedied, or that that person is not standing in front of students, or that those families have not been told that the teacher that you're sending your students to does not have a credential, cannot issue a grade, cannot take attendance. And I would hope, out of transparency and love for this community, that that has been communicated. More than that, I hope that it's been remedied here. Because what this board, I know, and what this team here wants more than anything else is for the community that the Escuela Popular serves is to be met where our students are welcomed as they are, where their areas of growth and areas of improvement are known, so that adults can positively respond, so that they can be full participants in their classroom, their school in Silicon Valley. That has not been a reality for members of our district and members of that school. This notice of violation is not a got you. It's not meant to be a sentence. It's meant to be a solid step and a declaration of the time to get it right is now. Doesn't have to be immediate. I think you and I would agree, if we looked at the data, that we can't clear every one of those credentials in the short term. But there has to be a palpable, observable, measurable plan that doesn't pivot every 2 weeks. I love hearing that we're engaging with an entity to hire credentialed people. I don't know why we didn't post for that a couple months ago. We could have. We did not. I think the right people are in the room, hoping that we have the right information. And I'm hoping by November 17th, this group of educators can do right by the community. It's a community I love. It's a community I serve. And it's a community that this board has always said, our students in charter schools are not their kids. They're still our kids. And as our kids, our students, kindergarten, TK through adults taking high school, deserve to have a credentialed and prepared, and not just quality, but qualified educator in that room. We can do that, but we have to do it soon, and we have to be serious about it. And we can't be evasive, and we can't keep moving the goalposts. What's our plan? What's our plan to get the best educators ready and the best readied educators to move our students towards full participation? And I'll go even further to say, especially in a period of our history where that community is under attack. If ever more that diploma need to be valid, if ever more that the transcript that a student graduates with, we can say that high school class where I got this grade was taught by a credentialed teacher, therefore it is valid. That time is now. Not a misassigned person who issued a grade. Not a rotation of 30-day subs. Our community deserves that, and we want to partner with you towards that. And I'm sorry if my tone sounds hard, but it comes from seriousness and an understanding of where we are. We could have had this conversation 6 months ago. We could have had that binder 6 months ago. I appreciate being handed it tonight when this board is having to issue a notice of violation to make sure we take the next step, which has the very scary word that board member Herrera's identified of revocation. Because going into this relationship since 2002, that's not the word anybody ever wanted to use. And with the spirit of what this school is and where it comes from, and you know, I'm saying yes. I'm saying that, okay, I'm saying that we have work.
Meant for a really long time.
Okay, we have work to do to get everybody
And we
fully
have
qualified.
worked. So the fact that you believe that I don't take this work seriously, or my staff,
Didn't say.
that we don't care about our community, you don't have to worry about that on your own. We work for that. That has been handed before. You don't know the numerous times that we've had to submit credentials. We've responded to every single notice. We were asked to do a corrective action plan to be submitted September 15th. We met with the staff. We said, when would you like this change to take place? They said, we can't tell you what to do, you do it. They suggested do a more elaborate plan, go week by week. We sat every single day for 2 weeks to work on that plan. And we saw September 29th is a day that we can roll over everyone, find the credentialed teachers that we need to take the classes that were previously taught by CTE credentialed teachers for a CTE course that if you plug it into CalPADS is the right credential for that course. The district said no. You need to do a material revision, so you cannot teach that CTE class. Okay, we won't teach it. The district said, revert back to the ELD classes. Okay, we will. That requires a credential because the law changed to June 30th. So we did. We said, September 29th, we will have everyone in place. We put it on our plan. What did staff do? They did their analysis on September 18th. Why? If they had looked and did their analysis on September 29th, October 1st, Census Day, they would have found all of that information.
That was one snapshot that they looked at. The 29th is another. Yesterday was another. And I'm hoping that data that was, I'm guessing hearing is of today.
All to say, Glenn,
Exactly.
we are taking this seriously. And the fact that we keep being accused and talked down to, saying that I'm misleading the board, that's on those letters. And every time I'm told, come, ask us questions, but I get these punitive letters all the time. It's not a welcoming letter to come and talk. It's written by an attorney, and it's something that, yeah, then we feel we have to respond with an attorney. And all we're saying is if we get in the same room, which I asked if we could do that before this meeting with our attorneys so that we're not speaking to staff one day and getting an attorney letter the other day. Let's have the attorney present and let's go through person by person. This didn't have to come to this point, but I just don't want to leave and be silent to the fact that you're talking to Patricia. My mother founded the school. I'm part of that community. I would never take that and be reckless with it, ever. And we are a school of choice, and our numbers have not gone down. Parents trust our teachers. They do an amazing job. My kids, TK through 8th grade, went to Escuela Popular. We do not take this work lightly,
Yeah.
and I do not appreciate the characterization that we don't care, that we're not responding, that we don't care about the community and the quality of education that they receive.
Yeah, I would never want to insinuate that there's a lack of caring, right? I would just want to continue that as part of this by November 17, that we can establish how we are going to meet the shared goals of educating that community going forward.
This is not a debate back and forth. I do want to give the opportunity for Ms. Doughty to make her presentations. Could you please?
Mr. President,
Yeah.
you're exactly right about this is not a debate, and I have to say, I still appreciate that there is a very honest and an authentic exchange occurring from what the superintendent said, what Patricia Reguerin just said, and I do respect the formal, press.
And there is a process of public comment. I want to be respectful of the legality of the rule that we have to be. We do have to present, give the opportunity for Ms. Ellen Doughty to present, and we can too have this conversation. But let's move forward and we can continue. It doesn't go away because I got a stack of public comment, which I intended to listen to each one of you in front of me.
Thank you. Is there someone who's changing the slides? Oh,
I think the clicker's up there.
it's up here. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yes, yes, that should be the same presentation that you all have printed out. Members of the board, my name is Ellen Doty. I am an attorney at the law offices of Young, Mini, and Core. I work with Jerry representing Escuela Popular. And a little background about myself. Before I moved to Young, Mini, and Core, my career previously was representing credentialed teachers before the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. I did that for about 5 years. I have represented hundreds of teachers before the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. I am very familiar with and passionate about teaching credential law. As we've discussed, Escuela Popular has 2 different schools. EPCTC is the adult program. EPA FLC is TK through 12 program. So there's 2 separate schools that we're talking about with this, and there's different rules that apply to the different schools based on the program. For what types of laws control credentialing for charter schools? It's the California Education Code, the California Code of Regulations, and case law. This notice of violation alleged, and I believe this notice of violation, notice of the notice of violation was sent on October the 13th, and it alleged that Escuela Popular was still out of compliance with the Education Code. So that is what we are here, and that is what the board is here to determine today is there a lack of compliance as alleged in the notice of violation as of today, October 16th? This is the day that the board is meeting and making those findings. Education Code Section 47605 L1 determines what is considered properly credentialed for a charter school. This is the entire thing, so you can look at that in the printout, but I won't spend too much time on there. The law says that teachers in charter schools shall hold the Commission on Teacher Credentialing certificate, permit, or other document required for the teacher's certificated assignment. So the question then is, what is a certificate? What is a permit? What is another document? A certificate is a document containing a certified statement, especially as to the truth of something. And specifically, it is a document certifying that one has fulfilled the requirements and may practice in a field. So some examples of certificates are EL authorizations or the CLAD certificate. That authorizes teaching classes geared toward English learners. The BCLAD, that's another certificate that authorizes teaching bilingual classes. And there's temporary certificates as well, temporary county certificates. Education Code Section 44332 is the law that allows a county board of education to issue a temporary county certificate. And what that means is that an educator has a credential application pending with the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. So while that application is pending, the teacher is allowed to teach in that assignment with the temporary county certificate. And this was created because there's a teacher shortage. The entire purpose of this Education Code section and of the existence of temporary county certificates is to address the teacher shortage by allowing teachers with TCCs to teach in the classroom. And Patricia gave me an example of a temporary county certificate in this county. And it says on it, this certificate is valid for service in the schools of Santa Clara County for 1 calendar year. From, in this case, August 1st, 2025, or until the credential permit certificate applied for is granted, denied, or delayed by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing, or the application is withdrawn by the applicant, whichever comes first. It says right on a temporary county certificate that it is valid for service in the schools of Santa Clara County. A permit is another type of credential that is lawfully allowed. Teachers can teach in charter schools if they have the correct permit. Some examples are short-term staffing permit, provisional internship permit, and the emergency 30-day substitute teaching permit. A teacher that is teaching, as long as they are within those 30 days, that they don't go past the 30 days, that is a valid credential teacher under the law. Further, the emergency 30-day substitute teaching permit,
Up to 30 days, right?
up to 30 days. If you've got one teacher in one classroom, if they only have the emergency 30-day substitute teaching permit, if they stay in that same classroom assignment past the 30 days, then they are outside the bounds of that permit.
So if they go from one classroom, let's say, I'm just picking, let's say calculus or math, excuse me, and then they go to a chemistry class, are they still in compliance or out of compliance?
I believe it's still in compliance if it changes to a different classroom, because my understanding is that is a different substitute teaching assignment.
What you're saying is in the world where you have somebody teaching math, they go teach PE, they go teach chemistry, they can rotate as long as they rotate the class 30 days. Is that what you're saying?
I believe in theory, I believe that would be legal, but I'm not saying necessarily that that's exactly what's happening in any given class, and that's certainly not the plan. Ideally, what Escuela Popular wants to do is have a temporary substitute in a position that is vacant, and then fill that with a teacher that has a clear credential, preliminary credential, or some other document specific to that subject. So that's the goal, is to have the substitute teachers in those spots while the positions are vacant. Education Code Section 47605L1 also allows teaching at a charter school with other document. So what is the other document? It's in addition to certificates and permits. California law has other documents that also allow individuals to teach. So some examples of these are variable term waivers, GELAP, and I can never for the life of me remember what that acronym stands for, but GELAP, single subject teaching credentials, multiple subject teaching credentials, intern credentials, any other document. That's why the law says other document. Escuela Popular is in compliance with Education Code Section 47605L1. That is the legal standard for charter schools. That is the violation that was alleged in the notice of violation, is Escuela Popular being out of compliance with this law. As of, I had put October 15th, that's just as of the date when I created the PowerPoint. The more accurate is October 16th, that is today. We were looking up to date because every day this can change. Someone's permit could get granted, someone's permit could expire. So I worked with Patricia and other Escuela Popular staff. We were looking at this and checking it as of at least 5 p.m. today because we wanted to make sure we had the most up-to-date information. I saw, after we had checked it, I saw Patricia and her staff roll out those binders with the most up-to-date, accurate information.
Question?
Yes.
As of October 15, every classroom teacher has a certificate, permit, or other document. Does this also include the CLAD, B-CLAD credentialing for these teachers?
Yes. So for the CLAD and B-CLAD, all of the teachers, and I spent the past few days going through with staff, reviewing every single teacher on the roster for both schools. Every teacher either has a B-CLAD or an EL authorization, depending on what is needed for the assignment. EL authorization is the CLAD. They call it the EL authorization now, but it's another name for the same thing. It is a credential for teaching English learners. So if you've got a class designed for English learners, instruction usually delivered in English, that's EL authorization. Compared to a bilingual class, like a dual immersion program, that would be more commonly a B-CLAD.
And again, just so that I'm really.
That's okay.
You know, you're saying tonight, every teacher has CLAD, B-CLAD.
So yes, so every teacher either has a CLAD or a B-CLAD,
And with
or
EL authorization if CLAD.
right, EL authorization and CLAD are yes, or they have a temporary county certificate with a pending application for a B-CLAD or a CLAD. And when you have that, then you can use the CLAD or BCLAD. That's the way the temporary county certificate process works. While the application is pending, you can use that until it gets granted
Therefore,
or
still in
denied.
compliance.
Therefore still in compliance. Or if it's emergency 30-day substitute teaching credential, that is authorized for any classroom under the law, and you have the regulation there in the packet. Those don't need the BCLAD or CLAD. Those are for any classroom, as long as it's limited within the 30 days, like we discussed.
We'll get to the opportunity for you to give the summary so that some clarity, but I think Trustee Cortez. Yep,
Oh.
okay, all right. Yeah, at the end, Trustee Herrera, we'll ask the clarity question about the individual, the summaries of the, how many employees, how many of them have different credentials and fully, partial. We'll have that clarity at the end. But for now, we just Ms. Dowdy to finish her presentations.
Thank you. So the issue with having September 18th be the snapshot for data is things have changed dramatically in the last 30 days. And part of this is because of the corrective action plan that had identified, I believe, September 29th as the date where things would roll over and the plan would come into place. District staff's analysis does not have accurate information, and that's understandable because it's based on September 18th. Today, we're talking about what is true today on October 16th. The district and Escuela Popular have a shared goal to increase the percentage of clear credential holders. Everyone wants that. Everyone wants the current staff to the extent that they are able to and interested in. And I think a lot of people are interested in becoming clear credential holders and hiring new staff that are clear credential holders. Everyone wants to make that happen. It is impossible to completely make that happen within just a matter of weeks. We're in the middle of the school year. Hiring and credential programs take time, but that is in the works. That is the goal. But right now, the question is legal compliance. What's been alleged is lack of legal compliance. Escuela Popular is in legal compliance based on the information we have as of October 16th today. I had looked at it. I went through the spreadsheet around 5 p.m. today, and I believe every assignment complies with 47605 L1. In terms of numbers of
Mr.
credentials.
President, I do have a quick question now.
Oh, sure.
Sorry.
Yes.
So I hear that you're saying that every teacher is in compliance and that you're saying that a sub-permit does not require a BCLAD or a CLAD clearance. How many teachers of the list that you're speaking of, how many have the emergency sub-credential as their qualifying credential?
So I have that information as of October the 16th. So I can pull that. 30-day sub permits. We have 3 teachers currently teaching on 30-day sub permits at EPAFLC, and then we have 6 at EPCTC right now.
So that's not 9 teachers altogether.
Yes, that would be 9 subs.
Out of how many teachers?
54? 54.
What's the difference between that and like the TCC? Is that like just it's in process? Is that?
Yes. So a TCC is when a credential application is in process. You can get a TCC for any kind of pending credential application. So let's say I am a teacher. I have a multiple subject teaching credential. I teach first grade. I've applied for my BCLAD. I believe the BCLAD, you have to do like 3 different exams, I want to say. So if I've done.
Depends.
It
You
depends.
can, you can take one subject matter competency, Spanish 3, and then go through a credential program, take a few courses, and you have your BCLAD.
Yes.
But my question is the TCC, like what I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yes.
Or understood what it means.
So the TCC, the example with the BCLAD is just, let's say you're applying for the BCLAD, but you don't have it yet.
Yeah.
You're in the process of trying to get the BCLAD, or you've submitted the application. It's sitting with the CTC. The CTC has not approved your BCLAD application.
That's like a waiver for the authorization.
It essentially, yes. So what it is you submit the application to the county, and the county says, yes, this person can teach in this assignment while the application is pending.
Is the TCC only being used for the authorization of the BCLAD or the CLAD?
It depends on the individual teacher's
For here,
situation.
for right now, with Escuela Popular specifically? Is it being used for the credential or for the authorization?
So it's different teacher by teacher. Let me look.
Like a snapshot, like
Yeah,
generally,
so
like,
the TCCs, we have, I'll just give EPA FLC as an example. Of the 4 teachers who have TCCs, 3 of them are TCCs for BCLAD. So the person already has the other credential to teach the class. The person is already bilingual. They're just waiting for their BCLAD application. So the TCC allows them to legally use that credential while the application is pending.
what would be helpful is to understand how many teachers are under what specific category. This is helpful, but I can't tell what is the subject matter for each teacher. And so if I see paperwork from the CTC, and even in this table, it doesn't tell me that information, right? I'd like to see like a pivot table of sorts. These many teachers have the TCC for the credential or for the BCLAD or for the CLAD, because those two are very different situations. These teachers have it for the 30-day sub-permit. I'd love to understand the history as well. And I'd like to understand how the homegrown program plays a role in here. Like, what does a teacher's journey look like? What are the different pathways? How are we supporting them professionally? Because especially right now, education is changing on a regular basis. I mean, I'm a teacher by trade. I have my credentials and I know how hard it is, but I also know how much professional development goes into that for you to get a specific credential, and how important it is as we support our students. And so having this without that information, without those tables, it's hard to make meaning of this. Even though it's clear that a lot of work went into this. So I don't know if that's available, like a snapshot for us to really see like, what is the state of the state? Because I still can't tell. I feel like we've been having a conversation just round and round and round, but I'm like, where are we actually at?
You want to respond, and then I'll let you an opportunity to finish the presentation that we took in the
Yeah.
snapshot.
And you don't have to go through those details, but if there is something like a document that could be printed or sent to us, that would be great. Because it's not clear.
Yes, so there's a couple of different things. I believe that, and I don't know if the one you have is the same one I have. I think it might be. There should be a column that says current teaching assignment. There is, at least on my sheet. So that should tell you if it's not listed. Yes, so if it says not listed, then that means the person does not have a current teaching assignment. They're just on the roster, they're in the system. But everyone with a current teaching assignment, it'll say what that class is.
I see.
So then you can compare that to the different credentials, and whether a BCLAD is needed or not, and the rest.
Do you have a table though? These many in TCC for this or for that. These many are in a program. These many have I heard you say like 2 or 4 have a 30-day. Again, just to have a snapshot, because I feel like we're having this big conversation, but it's hard to like anchor in it when it's like, well, what the heck are we talking about?
That is a really good point. So I can read through these, and I don't have a table ahead of time of this, but I wrote it down before coming here because I had just gone through, as of 5 p.m., what is the actual current status? What are the current numbers as of right now? There are 4 teachers with TCCs at EPA FLC. 3 of those 4 are TCCs for the BCLAD, but they have the underlying credential that they need. All of those are already bilingual. There are 2 teachers with TCCs at EPCTC. There are 3 30-day subs teaching at EPA FLC as of right now. There are 6 30-day subs teaching at EPCTC as of right now. So what we're talking about is 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, a total of 15 teachers that have these documents, the 30-day subs or temporary county certificates. But I need to point out that all of those are legally compliant under the
So
education.
I get that. My question is not legally compliant. I want to understand the different, I don't even know what the word is, certification, permit, like how they're, like what their status is. And so out of the 53, 15 have a TCC or a 30-day sub permit. The other ones have credentials?
Yes.
So
Other types of credentials, yes.
how are you, when I say credential, I'm talking like a preliminary, an intern, or a clear. The
Okay.
others are permits,
Okay.
which by law, I hear you. Yes.
Yes.
So how many actually have like credentials and how many have permits?
So all of that information should be in the spreadsheet, and I apologize that I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but you can look at that information, and you might though, actually.
15 teachers
15.
that either have an intern or clear preliminary for EPA or LP, and 18 for TTC.
Go ahead and stand with
Oh,
the mic so we
yes,
can all-
thank you.
I have
Oh,
15 teachers in EPA FLC that have a preliminary clear or intern credential. And I have 18 at CTC that have a clear preliminary or intern credential.
So what I'm hearing is 54 teachers, am I correct? How many of those are fully credentialed? Just give a quick summary and.
The ones that I just said,
Three.
Yeah.
because you're including interns into credentialed, fully credentialed or not?
Are you, I'm sorry,
33, right?
Yeah.
Number they're saying is 33 of the 54. Yeah.
that's including, and that's not including substitute teachers and not including, no, an intern. Okay.
So there are no PIPs, there are no STIPs.
There's
There are no
3
waivers?
steps, 3 steps for EPA FLC and, but yeah, and 4 for CTC.
So there's a gap here. So where do those fit in? Because these total in here, I have 15 teachers that have either the TCC or the BCLAD.
But Teresa, are you including the STIPs as part of the 33?
No, so the 33, no, I'm just including preliminary, clear, and intern credentials.
The math is not, I'm not, okay. Let's start from the beginning. So TCC and 30-day, those are 15. Yeah?
Say that again?
The-
TCC, no,
And 30-day,
TCC and 30-day.
and let's combine both schools. I don't, because when we separate them, that's
Okay.
confusing for me. I'm just like, let's categorize them by the credential.
So 6 TCCs,
Uh-huh.
7 interns, 1 BCLAD waiver,
And that BCLAD waiver has a credential already. Okay.
2 BCLAD permits, 7 STSPs,
7.
7 STIPs. Uh-huh.
9 30-day emergency credentialed teachers. We have 1 GELAP in English and 1 GELAP in art,
2 GLAPs.
and 1 GELAP in, oh no, that's counted as a TCC, sorry. So 1 GELAP in English and 1 GELAP in art.
2 GLAP.
Yes, 2 GELAP.
Okay. I have 34 so far, based on the map that you provide. 6, 7,
We do.
1, 2, 7, 9, 1, 1.
Oh, I don't see, I
26.
don't think you mentioned the
34.
prelim.
34 preliminary clear and intern credentials.
I have 34, yep.
And so those 34 are separate from the 7 intern that you already mentioned?
No, the 7 are included in that 34.
Okay, so it's 34, 7.
6, 7, 1, 2, 7, 9, 1, 1, 34.
So 27.
Correct. It's a state, yeah.
Oh,
So it's
34.
612-791-134.
Yeah.
67127911.
All these numbers and acronyms, they're just spinning my head, but
Plus
All right.
2
Now
plus
54, I get so far 34, am I correct? So another 20,
61. Did I do that?
probably not. I'm calculating in my head, but I don't think you get to
I
61.
did quick math too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Seven,
think it's 61 also.
well, I have 67127911, unless.
So
it's a
the
little-
7 are part of the 34. So it's 612791134.
Patricia, why don't you run it down so that we're on the same page? Because I think there was
Okay,
some questions.
Can do that.
All right, go ahead.
you want me to write it down, right?
Oh, no, just run it down. Just, you can do it verbally. I'm,
You want me to write it down?
write down, write it down, whatever you prefer.
Oh, run it. Okay.
Just run it.
Oh, sorry.
If you just read it,
So out of that.
Yes. So we have 26 total, I'll give you the total, 26 EPAFLC teachers and 28 CTC teachers.
26 and 28
Mm-hmm,
teachers. It's 54 teachers.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
3 have emergency 30-day substitute credentials.
Could we get them?
Oh,
all
sorry,
together?
9. I'll give you the total.
Yeah, the
9.
total would be helpful
9.
because we're
And,
just.
and
want-
here's where it might.
We just want to account for 54 teachers,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So 9 have 30-day substitute credentials. 7 have short-term staff permits. 2 have B-clad permits. 1 has a B-clad waiver. 7 interns.
But the interns are part of your,
Oh,
are you
Part of the
going to
other
break
thing.
down the 34 separately?
I'll do that.
That's part of it, yeah.
Because if we're double counting, then
Yeah.
that's going to get.
No.
confusing,
So
right?
I could tell you 7 and 26. So 7 interns and 26 clear preliminary.
All right.
7 interns and 26 cleared.
Yeah.
Okay.
54 total.
So
6
And-
6 TCCs. And 2 gel apps.
Yep. 1 and 1. Got it. I think our staff will have a lot of fun and hard work in front of them. But Ms. Dottie, you have anything else you want to present that I want to give you an opportunity to finish your presentations.
Thank you. I'll just add that if the number ends up being more than the number of teachers, that would make sense because some of the TCCs are a TCC for
the
B-clad,
B-clad.
where the person already
Yeah.
has the clear credential or a
Yeah.
preliminary credential.
Yeah.
So the number, with these numbers as we just did it, it'll still end up being more.
The maps seem to be a little bit off, but that's okay. We'll have
Yes.
wonderful staff who will go through that and we're not holding it against you because that. So, but we do want you to finish your presentation.
I think that's it, right? That was your
Yeah.
last slide?
That is the end. I'll just say that this, it is possible and probably more practical to hash all of this out and work through all of this in meetings with council and district staff, and we're happy to do that. There is an off-ramp to this process, and the off-ramp could be not issuing a notice of violation when the parties are not on the same page about the information. So that is what we would ask for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentations. I am going to start with public comment before we take a vote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read 3 names. Each one of you will be given 2 minutes to speak. When the 2 minutes come, you're going to see me wave this card. I don't like to cut people off, but if you see this wave, that means your 2 minutes up. You got finish your sentence, and then if you take more than 5 seconds, then I will step in and ask you to pause. Is that all right? So that way I don't have to cut you off, and that way you get to finish your sentence.
And Mr. President, I'm so
Yeah.
curious to know by raising hand, how many staff are here from Escuela Popular or otherwise affiliated?
All right.
Most of you here. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Our traditions is allowed 2 minutes. I don't want to change that rule, and I like to keep that exactly that it is. I would 3 names, and I'm going to ask folks, if you hear your name, sit in the front so that way it's a little bit faster. It's 9 something. I do want to get to all of you and I don't want to miss the opportunity to hear from you.
Approximately how many speakers have requested?
It won't matter because I'm going to hit we're going to hit each and every single one of them. So we're looking at about maybe 15, 20. But regardless what it is, I want to hear from each one of you. So let's start with Marie Hernandez, Ivan Garcia, Lucero Arellano. And if I do mispronounce your name, I trust me, it's not intentional. I was just trying to read your handwriting the best I could.
And forgive me if I miss any of your comments, but I'm heading out of the room for a couple of minutes.
Forgive us. Some of us will have bio break and just go. Feel free to do so. All right, Maria Hernandez, we say your name. There will be 2 minutes on the clock. If our superintendent willing to pop that in the front, that would be helpful. All right.
Good evening, members of the board and staff. My name is Maria Hernandez, and I've been a teacher of mathematics at Escuela Popular since 2006. I hold a clear single subject credential in mathematics with EL authorization. As a teacher, I have a clear expectations for my students from day one of each quarter. I share a daily agenda, a daily objective, and specific examples as well as detailed rubrics of what they are supposed to do to demonstrate mastery of materials. As a teacher, my goal has been for all of my students to grow. Yes, there are some who struggle. However, I communicate with them on possible ways they can receive knowledge they need, what they can make up, and what will make it possible for them to pass the class. I don't want them to fail. Today, I ask of you to please consider taking your role as members of the board and support Escuela Popular as a teacher would their students, letting them know not only what is expected of them, but also to have clear communication of those expectations, checking for understanding, and giving support on making sure those expectations are fulfilled. Last school year, as one of Escuela Popular's way to fulfill the expectations of credentials, I've been asked if completing the CTE program would permit teachers to at least teach the career exploration class to ELD students. At the beginning of this year, we were excited thinking that we were 100% credentialed, believing this program would allow teachers to continue to teach in their assignments. I am assuming that it was not clear to EP that it did not fulfill expectations because there was not a clear no. So later we found that Escuela Popular received a notice of concern saying that EP needed to revert back to the ELD classes and that district needed more time to review the materials to decide whether or not this program was sufficient. Notices of deficiency and corrections followed, to which EP responded and submitted correction action plan. To me, from a teacher's perspective, the notices were telling the school, you're failing, and not how can we support you to be able to be successful. Our Escuela Popular community, no, better said, our Escuela Popular family has been in the community and making a difference for a group of people that has always been denied the possibility of educating themselves. And they pay taxes too. We all know that education betters not only the person receiving it, but the entire community in which they reside. And that is the vision and mission of Escuela Popular. As you may know, its vision is education transform lives.
Thank you. So you know the rule. When I wave, that means you're 2 minutes up. I'll give you a couple of seconds to finish your sentence. Just please, if you can kindly stick to it, please. All right, next speaker, Ivan Garcia. But you can welcome to switch with each other, and then Lucero Arellano.
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 Arellano. Not just because I'm bad at pronunciation, but forgive me. You're welcome to switch locations, not a problem.
One teacher, Maestra Lydia Reguerin, went to Stanford, taught the ANSA College for over 20 years, and decided to leave her job to create Escuela Popular. She noticed the lack of love and generosity towards those Hispanic heritage, and she wanted to have an impact in their lives. She didn't do it alone. Her children too acquired that passion and love for education and supported their mother with that dream of educating people with heart. She then took into her hands to select homegrown teachers who had the heart and dedication to touch the lives of their students. Maestra Lydia was a teacher of many homegrown teachers, and believe it or not, those homegrown teachers lived their heart to Maestra Lydia Reguerin gave them voice and their hearts to share the love with their students. And it is not that teachers are not doing their part to obtain proper credentials to the classroom. They are studying very hard to continue their journey in education to receive those credentials. But the most important is that the students and the teachers are working together. Um, I don't believe it is fair for Escuela Popular, for the teachers and everyone to be in this notice of violations, since it has made substantial progress and since it received a letter to make correction. Now all the teachers comply with the Ed Code requires. As you probably very well know, schools around the entire country are suffering for a shortage teachers after the pandemic. So we want to make sure that you understand that we are taking this very seriously. We represent the community and we are here to let you know.
Thank you. That was perfect timing. So, all right. Next three speakers going to be Ivan Garcia, Judith Cortez, and then followed by Maribel Macias. Is that right? Okay. Fantastic. Come on up and then. All right. Thank you, Ivan. Go ahead. You can start.
Last month on September 26th, certified teachers started doubling shifts, teaching in the morning and evening to come into compliance with the credential requirements, and it's only because we believe in the vision and mission of Escuela Popular. Our heart is in it, and we want to continue serving our community. I'm not sure what the goal of the district is, or those creating schools policies are, but now for sure that we really would need to take the time and ask ourselves what the role is and why they first begin their educational journey. My goal was to make a difference and a positive impact in the lives of students. I know that in this in this goal of every teacher at Escuela Popular, please ask Please ask of you, please I ask of you to take time to carefully review the information provided by the school sooner than later and deny the notice of violation. I really hope and pray to the Lord that it helps the school become a better place. Nobody can make a better difference in our lives than homegrown teachers, can especially in relationship to the language acquisition, the act of teaching of love, and the ways of transforming lives and knowledge by the by by the way Paulo Freire taught Maestra Lydia. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm finding that if you're speaking in a good, clear voice and you stand too close, it fuzzes up the words a little. So don't stand too close and use a good, strong voice.
Good evening. My name is.
You can ban it, by the way. We'll give you the full 2 minutes. Don't worry.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Judith Cortez Herrera. I have a BA in Business Administration. I have been working at Escuela Popular for 16 years. I hold a single subject clear credential and a bilingual authorization. I'm bilingual, speak Spanish and English, and I'm properly credentialed under Education Code 47605. I truly enjoy working at Escuela Popular. Together, we have built not only a teacher-student relationship, but a bond that feels like family. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Judith. Next speaker, Maribel Macias, and then followed by Elizabeth. Oh my God, forgive me, Robertelli. All right.
Hi,
You can make fun of me later.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maribel Macias. I have 2 BAs. I am a lawyer, and I am another in education. I have been working at EP for 12 years. I hold multiple subject credentials. I am bilingual. I speak Spanish and English. And I am properly credentialed by my teaching assignments under Education Code 47605. I was also an EP student EP teacher helped me, teach me to speak, to write, and to be able to become a teacher again, because I was a teacher in Mexico, and that gave me the opportunity to be able to be here, stand up and speaking. So thank you so much, and I hope you consider our petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth Robitale. Was enough? All right, correct me, please.
All right. Good evening, Board President Doe, trustees, and Superintendent Vanderzee. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Robitaille, so you were close. Chief Schools Officer for the California Charter Schools Association. First, I want to express my appreciation for the longstanding partnership between Eastside Union High School District and Escuela Popular Charter Schools. For decades, this relationship has been grounded in a shared commitment to expanding opportunity for students and families in San Jose, particularly those who have been underserved. That collaboration has made a real difference in the lives of students, parents, and educators. Tonight, I'd like to reiterate the important point made by Senior Counsel Ellen Doty regarding teacher credentialing. Under California Education Code 44332, a county superintendent may issue a temporary county certificate to educators who have completed all credential requirements but are awaiting the formal credential document from the state. And under Ed Code 47605L and 47605.4, as you heard, charter schools are explicitly authorized to employ teachers holding any credential, permit, or certificate that a district school would be allowed to use. In other words, charter schools are entitled to the same opportunities and flexibilities in staffing as their district counterparts. As your district council pointed out, a lot of the former charter flexibility went away as of July 1, but the provisions in law now exist, as they now exist, are flexible in the sense that the Charter Schools Association and our members worked with the legislature and Commission on Teacher Credentialing to ensure equitable treatment for charter schools. So we believe that charter schools like Escuela Popular are fully within their rights to employ teachers with temporary county certificates, just as any district school may do. And I would respectfully urge you not to approve the notice of violation and instead meet with all parties, including legal counsel, given the good intentions on all sides. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Magali Tapia, followed by Alba. I can't put, Liliana, and then followed by Bobby Ortiz. Welcome. Say your name for the records, and then you can start, and we'll give you 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Magali Tapia. I am a proud graduate and current teacher at Escuela Popular. I started my educational journey here, and now I have the privilege of giving back. Escuela Popular is a bilingual and inclusive educational community dedicated to academic excellence, social responsibility, and community empowerment. It offers programs that help individuals and families to continue their education. My journey reflects Escuela Popular's powerful impact. Having never attended school before, I gained the tools and support at EP to transform my life. Even after graduating, the school's mentorship has continued to inspire my academic growth and passion for teaching. I earned my bachelor's degree in liberal studies, and now I am completing my teaching credential and master's degree in social studies at Santa Clara University. Accomplishments that once felt unimaginable without the foundation provided by this school. And this coming spring, we are getting our preliminary credentials. Today, I hold an inter-teaching credential that allows me to teach in the field I love. I am proud to share that I am in full compliance with the ED code requirements. And like many of my colleagues, including Erica Murillo next to me, who also holds an inter-credential, we are continuously developing our professional skills and to meet and surpass the standards expected of educators in our community. Many others who began their educational journey at EP are following similar paths, working diligently to complete their credentials. As an educator and parent, I see how Escuela Popular transforms lives. My son's bilingualism and cultural pride reflects the school's success in empowering learners of all ages to grow academically and personally. For these reasons, I respectfully and with all my heart urge the Eastside Union High School District Board of Trustees to keep supporting Escuela Popular Charter to keep transforming lives for coming generations.
Thank you. All right, next speaker is Alba Liliana Cifuentes, and then followed by Fabio Ortiz, followed by Aidan Cantera.
Okay, my name is Alba Liliana Cifuentes. I have a BA in PE. I have been working in AP Escuela Popular. PE credential. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Fabio Ortiz. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Fabio Andres Ortiz. I have a BE in mathematics. I have been working at the Escuela Popular maybe almost 3 years. I hold a single subject clear credential and bilingual authorization. I teach math in middle school, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. I have greatly valued the opportunity to teach mathematics at the Escuela Popular. It has been highly rewarding to support the students in improving their performance on the different assessments, such as Smarter Balance and NWEA tests, while also fostering their genuine engagement with mathematics as a fundamental component of STEM education. Working with immigrant and newcomer students has been particularly meaningful, as it allows me to help them overcome language and cultural barriers while building the skills and confidence they need to succeed academically. I am proud to be part of this school that provides immigrant students with the support, guidance, and opportunity that they need to grow. Through my teaching process in this subject, I am able to contribute directly to their learning, helping them gain the skills, confidence, and curiosity to succeed not just in this school, but in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Aidan Cantera, followed by Ethan Stanton, and then Fernando, excuse me, forgive me.
Hello, my name is Adan Cantera. I am a mathematics teacher at Escuela Popular. I have a single subject credential with bilingual authorization. I've been with Escuela Popular since 2013. And in these 11 years, 1 quarter and 2 weeks, I have had a very wonderful experience with a very strong staff. I think I would like to think that we meet the spirit of the law of providing quality education. And I'd just like to say that I'm fairly confident we'll meet also the letter of the law of providing all these credentials. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Ethan Stanton, followed by Fernando Medina, and then Michael Kine. Welcome.
Thanks. My name is Ethan Stanton. I am an English teacher at Escuela Popular. I have a single subject clear credential in English with EL authorization, and I'm bilingual in Spanish. I have got my credential from UC Berkeley in 2009 and a master's degree in 2010. And I've been teaching at the high school youth and adult levels. I love my job and my students, and I'm passionate about the subject that I teach. And I came to EP and stayed at EP, Escuela Popular, stayed there because it is a unique place. It's a collaborative place. And as you've heard, I think several times from the founder of our school said that teaching is an act of love. And I really do believe that. I see that every day in the staff, the other staff around me, and my own students, that this is not just a school, it's a community. It's a place where that serves all ages, from infants through adults, which is unique, which is incredible. And it really does transform lives. And yeah, again, I see that every day as well. It's absolutely true. And our students, especially our adults, I teach a lot of adults who give everything to come to school. They have jobs, they're parents, they come, work all day and then come to school after work, or vice versa. Also this school is, as I said, it's a community. In addition to the educational programs, we also, there's legal help for students. They connect students with housing, with food, give new immigrants a place to belong, a place to feel safe with everything that's happening in this country. And so I'm proud and happy to work at Escuela Popular because I really do believe that this school makes the world a better place. That's why I went into education in the first place. And that's why I've stayed at Escuela Popular because the school is committed to that. And yeah, I'm proud to continue to work at Escuela Popular because I see those results in the students and in the community. So I urge the board to ensure that this wonderful school is able to continue to provide the essential benefits that it does provide to the community. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, next speaker, Fernando Medina. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Fernando Medina. I have been working at the Escuela Popular for 19 years. I hold a clear teaching credential in physical education, which is the class I teach. I want to say that many of my coworkers are not here right now because they are teaching. Yes, we have about 350 students right now in the classrooms. And I want to remark that they are being taught by credentialed teachers and they are receiving quality instruction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Michael Kinney.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Michael Kinney. I'm a credentialed teacher. I have my clear credential. I also have my CLAD. I have my credentials in a single subject credential in English, but I'm also working on my single subject in art. I only have one more class left to clear that credential. Yeah, I just want to say that, you know, I know when the law changes, there's a transition period that people have to go through to accommodate those laws sometimes. And, you know, the idea was brought up that maybe some of the teachers at our school are underqualified, but I've taught in the Los Angeles School District, LA Unified, I taught in Oakland, and these are the most qualified teachers that I've ever taught with. And yeah, I mean, the homegrown teachers especially, these are people who have gone through the same things that our students have gone through, and they've worked hard. And now I mean, I have seen them teach, and it's just, to me, it's beautiful what I see them doing in the classroom. So I just wanted to make that point and say that I appreciate your consideration for, you know, maybe not giving us the violation. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Kinney. Any other public speakers? Any other additional? Any online? No online and no public comment. Right. All right. That's the conclusions of our public comment. Any question, comment from colleagues at this point?
First, I really appreciate hearing and feeling the presence of the staff, hearing your voice, feeling your hearts. Every time we have these kinds of public conversations at Escuela Popular, I always vividly feel the spirit of Maestra Lidia Reguere. And I still get emotional about it. Where I am is, I believe our administration laid out a very credible narrative with their efforts to communicate with Escuela Popular. And the lead attorney for Escuela Popular, what's your name again? Jerry what? Simmons, Jerry Simmons. In his remarks, he said, you know, he doesn't know how this miscommunications happened, if indeed there were miscommunications. And here we are. Everything in me wants to do everything possible for Escuela Popular. And so I'm holding very strong feelings for that. And on the other hand, I have the deepest respect for our superintendent and for his team. The presentations by the administration were credible, if not persuasive, at least credible. And the presentation by Escuela Popular, I found the same, credible, if not persuasive. And either way, whether there's a notice of violation is adopted tonight or not, it appears that Escuela Popular is well equipped to respond and basically chart the path forward. As of now, I'm reconciling this based on the strength of the presentation that Escuela Popular made tonight. I'm reconciling my dilemma by supporting the superintendent's recommendation, knowing that you're going to actually be able to address it, fairly strongly. And Escuela Popular will not be in peril because of updated information. And I would, before the board votes, like the administration to respond with whatever comments they feel are appropriate to the presentation made by Escuela Popular, including for our attorney to make any comments, because there's such a material difference in the presentations, on the one hand by the administration, on the other by Escuela Popular. And wow, this is just a really hard moment.
Any other comment from colleagues?
I don't remember the last time we had an item this long. I don't remember the last time we had an item that we discussed this long. I mean, more than an item, right? I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I want to start off by saying, like, there is no question about my deep respect and love for the Escuela Popular community. It's my community. It's our community, right? I deeply respect the concept of homegrown. And I know that there's been a lot of work there. I know a thing or two about teaching or learning, nowhere near like professional or expert or anything like that. But it's clear that there are some efforts that have been started. I'd love to learn more about that. I have a lot of questions. I wish this folder would have been with us like July 1st or whenever we said, like initially, to start a deeper conversation. And we are where we are. But after getting a little bit of a snapshot, it still continues to be clear that there's work to do. No matter which way we go tonight, though, it's not a definitive one thing is going to happen or another. If anything, there's going to be more guidance, more clarity of this is exactly what needs to happen. And I hope that moving forward, we are very clear with each other on this is what needs to happen. All right. Is this how you define this? Because over and over and over again throughout tonight, and I feel like throughout a lot of this process, there's just different interpretations. But beyond those interpretations, I would hope that we would really work towards not doing the minimum, doing as much as we can for our children, for our community. And I know without question that is what's in the heart of the Escuela Popular community, right? But what does that look like? That is something that I'm still wondering. And so again, whichever way we go today, I'm hoping that it brings more clarity and that we continue getting to work.
You'd like to speak first? Oh, Ms. Jocelyn, otherwise I will. Okay. First of all, I want to thank the community for being here from the Escuela Public community. Yeah. First one, I just want to take a moment to express my my appreciation, my gratitude for the Escuela Public community to be here tonight, in addition to the work you have done. 3 of my children have attended. In fact, 2 of them are still at charter school, and 1 of them is now at YB. She's old enough, but the other 2, and my wife, when I start on the board, when I first elected 5 years ago, my wife was working at a charter school not too far from Escuela Popular. So there's no question in my mind that no matter where the children are, they are our children, and parents have the absolutely the decision to send their kids where they think they're best for their kids. So I've always been believe in parental choice, and charter school is a wonderful option, and every kids have a different needs. But I also want to, if I may, Patricia, if I may call you by your first name, unless you prefer Gregorian. No. Do you remember when I visit Escuela Popular with my colleague, Trustee Cortese? Do you remember the last question I asked you as I leave? Do you remember? I asked Patricia, and we at Eastside Union High School District, our staff, have done our part to being responsive to, as you know, we obviously, we have to be legally compliant, but we also, are we responsive to you and helping you to meet the need to be compliant, to fill out the forms that what we needed. Do you remember? That's the last question I asked you. And we have some wonderful conversations. And you said that, to the extent that I remember, you said yes. I wish there was a lot less work, but you thought, you believe our staff were responsive. And when you were here, when we renew, if you remember, during the break in between, and I want to be supportive of Escuela. I mean, you represent exactly the kind of things that, as a former refugees, English is my second and my third language. You're doing exactly what should be done for students who English is not the primary language, and you serve the purpose and need. But I also remember, if you remember what I asked from you, and what you promised to me too, was that you would do everything you can to make sure that you are going to be fully legal compliant. Because at the end of the day, Eastside Union High School District have a legal obligations to our students, all our students, charter school, and this is all our students. So I'm glad, I'm very grateful that you provide this today. This is definitely a step forward. I know our staff will look at it very carefully, and I promise you, I will read every single name. I may not understand education as well as Phillips and beyond, but I promise you, I will try my best to understand. So regardless how we vote today, my colleagues, I assure you, this is not the end of the conversations, what we're going to do together to advance the interests of our students. I hope you will, you and your legal team will find a way to work with our staff to make sure that we will make sure everything we can to be fully compliant, and at the same time serve the need of each and every one of our students. Okay.
I know that tonight we have a very long meeting and discuss about Escuela Popular. And I know that I've been visiting Escuela Popular several times, and I know some of you, and I'm also an immigrant, and I know how hard it is when you first came to United States without, another language, and you struggle and trying to find your way so you can establish your life here and move on. Looking to those two presentations, and I know that it's very hard to say yeah or nah, but I know that our administrator really done, their best, for all of the charter school, because I think we have to follow the rule and the regulations from the state and from the county. It's not that what we don't want. I know that staff has been working diligently with the staff of Escuela Popular. And my heart said that, yes, let's try to find and solve those findings. And we can move on, the next step. You heard that I asked staff that what happened to November 17 and what happened after that. We really don't want to see any bad things happen to the community, Latino community or other ethnic community that is a part of our community. And all of our students, they are come from East Side, and they are, all of them that belong to East Side. And we represent all of them. So I hope that after this meeting, we can find some way that we can work together, support Escola Popular, but we have to follow the rule. So hopefully that we will take a little bit more time, then we can work together, but whatever our decision tonight is just not the end of the world. And I want to let you know that, my heart is always to those immigrants because I am one of the first generation to come to United States. And I'm struggle as much as those people are struggling. But I hope that we can come to a conclusion that we can work together so we help our community of East Side. Thank you.
Trustee Cortese, and then we'll take a.
Okay, and I'm timing myself. I'm going to take the same 2 minutes that we give people public speaking. Because I didn't want this moment to be missed without acknowledging, when I hear people say things like teaching is love, that is music to my ears. And, what Escuela stands for is magical. It's incredible what you do. And, I heard people saying teachers are doing double shifts now, which tells me that you're taking it very seriously. And yet that in it of itself is not sustainable. And so I think it's imperative that we move forward and find a path that is sustainable and meets the needs of our students and your staff and our whole community. In a minute.
Mr. President, before we vote, I'll add a comment or two and then ask the administration to make some comment on the presentation by Escuela Popular. What I want to add is to remind you, because I've said this publicly before, my father was a migrant worker who worked the fields and ranches of the Southwest states and brought his family here to San Jose in 1952 when it was orchards and fields and canneries. It was an agricultural place. I was the eldest and the first one into the school system, speaking only Spanish. They weren't ready for kids like me. I dropped out of kindergarten because I was so lost. And, I didn't know what to do. The family didn't know how to support me. I don't know to this day how the heck I made it because they did not have provisions for kids like me. So I so strongly identify with your community, with this community, with my community. Let's just pull a win-win out of this. It's the most it's the most difficult challenge I've seen come to Escuela Popular. But to go to a cliche about the symbol for crisis, crisis represents both danger and opportunity. I want this to be an opportunity when we all come out of this as the partners that we've been and the partners that we can still be and are in what we want for our people, for our community. And then, Mr. Superintendent, you've heard the presentation tonight and your recommendation is still, and can we have responses to the presentation by Escuela Popular?
I think I did respond to the first presentation. We had a bit of an exchange of that. I think I reiterated kind of where the district position is, and I appreciate the presentation on the legal aspects and what a TCC is. And I know that our team has been and is aware of that. We'd like to get all 54 names in the binder and have that as part of the response of what we are actually and what efforts we're going to make. Any statements about not caring or not working hard enough, that's not the case at Escuela Popular. That's understood. However, if we're doing math here and there's 54 teachers and right now we've got 34 and many here tonight that say, I'm fully clear, I've got my clad and I'm in there every day changing lives. That's exactly it. That's, if you're asking where is the district on that, that's where the district is on this. And understanding that Escuela is going to provide that teaching and learning with the fully credentialed because their own program improvement plan states it. But there is a clear understanding on behalf of our administration and our board. And if it's not felt okay, But I know with absolute certainty that this board and this district is also aware of what happens outside of the classroom in Escuela Popular and the support that families receive from that. And so this is the next step in a process that in our role of authorizer, I can tell you this would not be what I, choose to do just inherently, but in our role of authorizer and the position that the district is in as well in terms of honoring the MOU, as well as recognizing the petition and ability to enact a petition, the recommendation stays the same so that we can get a response by November 17 that allows us to go, okay, we're doing that. Go. Let's continue that without the back and forth or the lack of certainty on this. But with an eye for let's not get here again either. Let's not get to a point where there's 20 teachers that we're going to have to develop a plan for in order for them to get free and clear. I've heard, spoke to the different members of the organization. I think that their Escuela has landed on some things I think going forward will make a difference. We got to just get that as part of that November 17th response so that as your role as authorizer, you can say we've done right by that, the school and the community.
We continue. I just want to take a moment to wait a second. No. It's almost 10 o'clock. We have to take a vote to extend the meeting and then we can continue this dialogue.
I move that we extend the meeting until what time?
Let's do midnight. Let's just do
We'll
midnight.
finish before midnight.
Listen, we don't have to use up midnight. I can see beyond and say, oh my God, but.
It's not on this issue.
Listen, I don't care how long it takes. We're gonna have this dialogue because there may be some public comment. I want to give the opportunity for each and every one. So why don't we go ahead and take the midnight?
Move to approve.
So
Move to approve. I need a second. Second. All right. Moved by Cortese, second by Herrera. Who's enthusiastic about moving this meeting up to midnight? Say aye.
Aye.
Colleagues, aye. So.
Come on. Okay, so can I continue?
Yes,
here?
please continue now that you are.
Something occurs to me in the moment, and that is, if this is approved well, I guess I want to ask you what last time. Given everything you've heard today, Mr. Superintendent, are you still recommending that we issue a notice of violation and not postpone it to another meeting? Or
our process and our timeline and in our role of authorizer, I think that we're at a point that is the proper thing to do in order for us to get a response in November, by November 17th, which can put action items in place during this school year and prior to the next school year. I think time is of the essence, yes.
Okay, so here's something that occurs to me in the moment, that is, if this is approved as recommended by the superintendent, I think it would be helpful for at least two members of the board to sit in on meetings that will occur with, going over the substance of the issue.
The nature of our interactions in the next 30, before November 17th can take various incarnations. If this has all the information that has been asked for, that's already a good step in the right direction. As I said earlier, I do believe that the right people are in the room.
Trustee Area, I just want to caution us that as elected official, for us to sit in this meeting, there may be some legal issues that legal counsel may have to explicit. I want to be very cautious because we don't want to be interfering in this work of the staff, right? We are in the role of leadership and directions and not directly into saying, hey, this one, meet the checkbox and not make the checkbox. That could be very,
Yeah, I just want to
questionable.
observe that over the years, one of the ways the board has strengthened its role on sensitive or high priority issues, that it has assigned two board members as liaisons. They're not directing the staff. They're not, differing with the staff. They're in the room to understand deeply, issues. But it's just an idea, and I'm not.
Can I ask you a question? To what end? Like, what is it that you're hoping to get? Because I'm wondering if there's different ways to get to whatever the outcome it is that you're hoping.
When something pretty significant is on the line,
Mhm.
my experience has been that the stakeholders find more credibility in having a board member or two in the room as a discussion is developing and as points and counterpoints are being made, so that they can like deeply track the movement of it all. And it just creates more credibility for stakeholders. And it's not absolute. It doesn't have to be.
The one thing I would just want to interject is that earlier in the presentation, it was said that our role is of authorizer, where the school is Escuela Popular, right? The decisions they make are theirs. The path they choose is theirs. We just, as our role of authorizer, need to make sure that it's both legal and meets their ability to implement their petition.
Okay.
And so that's, when we hear like, hey, I don't want to overshare here, but I had a little bit of a conversation with the board president who said, hey, we're looking at these things a bit from Patricia. Sure.
It'd be nice to have you on the record.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, fair.
I'm stepping back with my suggestion because I just don't sense that there's a readiness or even a sense of appropriateness. So I'm just pulling it back.
I was just going to ask legal counsel to weigh in because I do want credibility and I want partnership, but I just want to make sure that we are in compliance because the law, we still specific things. So perhaps it may be appropriate for legal counsel to weigh in on the appropriateness and whether that maybe cause some perception of interfering.
Ultimately, of course, it's a board decision on whether, you want to appoint one or two people to do something like that. But I think there's such a depth of knowledge that the staff has and that the Escuela team has regarding the specific credentialing issues. It is going to be extremely difficult for anybody to come up to speed that quickly during a meeting. And so I guess that's one level I question what that's going to be like. Logistically, if the board approves these notices of violation, there's a 30-day response period. Logistically, we would want to be able to hold these meetings very quickly and to have them occur and work through all of these issues, work through these binders, everything that's in the binders. My general sense is that, the staff meeting with the Escuela people will be able to look through all of these issues and prepare an appropriately detailed briefing for the board. That way, there's a full and complete understanding of where we are 30 days from now.
As I said, I'm pulling back the suggestion.
Thank you, Trustee Herrera. Yeah.
How often would we get those briefings, Rogelio?
Well, it's going to depend ultimately on how many meetings or interactions or communications there are between the district team and the Escuela team. So,
okay.
Ideally, you want our district and the team from Escuela Popular to move very, very fast. You don't want to impede by our own personal schedules.
Yeah. My last comment, honestly, last comment.
It's going to be midnight, by the way.
I can do this, excuse me. I can do this offline, but the presentation by Attorney Ellen Doty materially differs from the presentation by our team attorneys. And I want to understand why they're so materially different, but it doesn't have to be now.
All right. Any additional comments? I can see staff is not as enthusiastic about my midnight plan as you are, Trustee Herrera. All right. Do we have a motions?
I am going to move the staff recommendation with the confidence and the spirit that we will find a way to find a path forward.
I need a second.
I'm going to support the motion. I forgot a point that I was going to make in that. This is really difficult for me and my mind is struggling right now. So I forgot what I was going to say on that. So.
Is that your support or are you second the motions? I love to get some
I'm not
clarity.
offering the second.
You're not second the motions. All right, I do need a second.
Second.
Okay. Motions by trustee Cortese, second by trustee Lay. How do you vote, colleagues? Aye. Trustee Herrera? Yes? Trustee Lay, you second the motion, so the motion passed unanimously. As closing, I do want to express that this is not last of our conversation. This is an ongoing conversations. And as Trustee Herrera said earlier, very eloquently, when I said crisis is opportunity, what would you say? Crisis and opportunity? And danger is an opportunity, right?
Danger and opportunity.
Right. So this could be a very well opportunity for us to be full of compliance and moving the forward for each and every one of our students. Now,
What I couldn't remember a moment ago was that I was voting for it with the confidence that the information in this binder and the full presentation was going to move us actually forward rather than put the institution in danger. If I didn't believe that, I don't know what I would do.
I have full confidence in the Square team with the binders to move us forward in the conversation. So we do have a process to be legal compliant. I get that, but I have confidence that ESUHSD and the Square will find a path forward. All right, 802, discussion and actions to approve issuance of notice of violation to Escuela Popular Center for Training and Career pursuant to Educational Code Section 47607. Do we still have our presentations or it's going to be the same one that you? All right.
Our presentation would essentially be the same,
Yeah.
but I think we would offer Square
We'll offer you,
the
that's
opportunity
right.
to speak if desired.
Do you still want to speak? And by the way, I appreciate the passion, authenticity of your comment earlier. I just want to make sure I give Ms. Dowdy an opportunity to finish her presentations. So, all right. If there's no additional questions, I think we got no additional comment. I need a motions on 802. Colleagues, could you move by trustee Lay? Motion, any other seconds?
Second.
All right. Second by trustee Cortese. Colleagues, how do you vote? Aye. Motion pass 5-0. Okay. Thank you. I will give an opportunity for, let's take a 3 minutes bio break. So a break to talk to folks, please. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in business. Great to see you. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm going to ask all my colleagues to return to their seat. Item 10.01. I'm sorry, forgive me. 901, public hearing, operational board discussion. No items. So we go to 10.01. Member of the public may address the board on any subject not on tonight's agenda. However, provision of the Brown Act, Government Code Section 54954.2a and 54954.3 preclude any actions as an unagendized item. No response is required from the board or district staff, and no action can be taken. However, the board may instruct the superintendent to agendize the item for a future meeting. Any person may address the board on any item on the meeting agenda. Person wishing to address the board may participate and comment as follows. In-person public comment may be made in person in the meeting room by filling out a public speaker request form at the room entrance. When your name is called, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. You may also raise your virtual hand in Zoom to request to speak and offer comment in real time. You will have 2 minutes to speak. Person may also fill out a speaker request form via online submissions. Comments should be limited to no more than 1,000 characters in length. Please reference in your submission the agenda item numbers for your comment. Your comment be read out loud as part of the public meeting. Any public comment on under 10.01, 10.01? I take that as a no. Seeing none and hearing none. We don't have our secretary, so we don't know if there's any online, but if there is, we'll circle back. All right. Do you see any raised hand online? Oh, written comment? No raised hand. And all right, so we'll confirm with Mary when she come back. Yeah. Okay. All right. 1101, discussion or action to receive the first reading of Senior Manager of Internal Audit proposed annual audit work plan for 2025-26. Ms. Kwong, do you want to add something? She's great. She gave me a thumbs up. And
Can I just move to approve?
I don't know, do we even need to, just receive a first reading? There's no.
Oh, it's the first reading, sorry.
First reading.
Okay.
Just receive, that's it. So we receive, we thank you for your hard work. And 1102, discussion or action to amend the 2025-26 board meeting calendar, recommended. Are we meeting, are we modifying? Yeah, well, without Matt, we don't really know what it is that we. Glenn, oh, that's right. We are amending the 2025-26 board meeting calendar. It is for the retreat.
Yes, there's been a request to move the retreat from October 25 to a future date. So I just need to take action that you all are in favor of moving that and give Mary Lupez permission to poll the board, and I'll work with the board president to establish a new date.
So moved.
I will move, agree to move, and I will request that Trustee Cortese take a lead on additional.
You should not say that publicly for the record. No.
President.
No,
No.
okay, I withdraw. I don't know.
Just knows how much I love retreats, so good.
There you go.
President Doe, it's still on your watch.
Exactly. The chair holds the retreat.
Oh my God. Are you sure that's what you really want?
Yeah.
All right. You may regret that, but but I will continue my responsibility. All right. We need a motions and a second, please, on
We
the
got it.
item.
Herrera moved, right?
Herrera move, yes?
Lay second.
And Lay second. Forgive me.
Isn't that right?
Is that right? You second? Okay. So motion by Arias, second by Lay. Colleagues, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. 1301. Discussion action to approve the contract for professional service over $25,000. I
Move
see a
to
thumbs up.
approve.
Moved by Cortese, second by Herrera. Colleagues, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. 1302, discussion on action to approve the extension of charter school facility use agreement with KIPP Public School in Northern California.
At previous meetings, the different agents from KIPP have come and asked for you to approve, or the direct staff to kind of approve application for Prop 2. We met around that and talked about like long-term leases and financing and all that would involve, and asked that if we're going to ask that, then let's ask the board kind of first on that. And we had some discussion around facilities and KIPP, and I think if I may, I'll try to say this. We reached an agreement that it would be best right now to simply extend the current facilities use agreements as they are for another year, to give both KIPP and Eastside the time to really kind of collaborate around where, when, and how is the best way to serve Eastside students, which includes students of KIPP. So
we are
that's
likely
our
to vote.
recommendation is to extend the FUA for a year.
Anything else to add? Do you want? But turn.
Well, you sat there for 2.5 hours. You might as well get a word in, you know?
Right?
We'll give you 2 minutes. How do you wait 2.5 hours?
I need like 30 seconds. I'm Adam Kay. I'm the Director of Real Estate for KIPP Public Schools.
What's your name again? Sorry.
Adam Kay.
Pleasure meeting you. Adam.
Director of Real Estate for KIPP Northern California. I haven't been here for a couple of years. I used to spend a lot of time here back in the day, but it's been a while. I just want to thank the board for considering this. I want to thank the superintendent for working with us, an associate superintendent who went to working with us just to get this done. And as the superintendent said, it's just a 1-year extension for the 2 FUAs for KIPP San Jose Collegiate and KIPP Navigate. And just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. All right.
We're going to take one by one here.
I have a quick question. This is for Glenn. So I think we had a practice of trying to align facility use agreements with charter renewals. Is that right? Like, does this throw that off, or how does that?
Yeah.
This becomes part of the calculus of doing that as they come for renewal, and we'll look to see what that term looks like, and then we'll try to align the FUA with that. So,
Okay, so when's the renewal?
I'm getting the same face that I'm giving him, which is Tom, do you know?
The renewal should be this year. So
the renewal, we'll be able to line it up with the extension of.
So the intent is if, once upon KIP's renewal, and pending the outcome of the renewal, and depending on what they do with the Prop 2 funding potentially, that the next full FUA that we would negotiate would be a 4-year instead of a 5-year typically, so then it would match up.
Okay, more will be revealed. All right. I just was curious how that aligned, so I'll move to approve the recommendation.
Second.
Moved by Cortese, second by Chavez. How do you vote, colleagues?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Okay. 1503, discussion action to approve the extension of the charter school facility use agreement with KIPP Public School. This is the second portion of that, right? This is the 1-year term?
It's the second site, same.
Side of site, okay.
Move for approval.
All right. Moved by Herrera, second by Lay. Colleagues, board, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. 1401, discussion action to receive and adopt. Thank you for your time. Adopt second readings of proposed amendment to board policies 4000 concepts and role, board policy 4020, drugs and alcohol-free workplace, board policy 4033. Allocation, accommodation, etc. I hear, yeah, I won't read the rest of it. I got a thumbs up. Okay, my thumbs up.
Colleagues to approve of the recommended board policies. These are all standard CSBA language, so move to approve.
Right, so I'll consider yep as a second.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's coded. All right. Motion by Cortese, second by Chavez. Board, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously. And ladies and gentlemen, I would not in the future continue to read more than a few sentences because I think it's the same. So I think we all get the point. You don't need to hear me repeating the same thing 20 times. Discussion on action to receive the first reading of proposed amendment to board policy 4030. This is the first reading to receive. Am I correct? No, yeah. Just to receive first reading. That's all. Unless someone want to add on, I think we move next. Good. 1501, discussion action to approve piggyback bid award and request proposal for bond capital projects. Need a motions?
Move to approve.
Moved by Cortese, second by Chavez. Board, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. A little later than some of my colleagues. For some of my colleagues, but we're good. 1502, discussions on action to approve the bond capital project contract over $50,000. Moved by Chavez, second by Cortese, thumbs up by Mr. Tom Huynh. Board, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Consent calendar. Need a motion for consent calendar, please.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Moved by Cortese, second by Herrera. Board, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Let's skip to. All right. We have, we do have written report this time. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Final approved construction costs. Okay. Is 20, all our consent, part of consent calendar, am I correct? And so the
Yep.
next one is 21, am I correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, written report recommendations. Receive annual developer fee report for 2024-25. Developer fee report. We simply accept the annual report. 2101. Good? All right, 22, future agenda item. Any requests from colleagues? Hearing none, seeing none. 22.
Can I ask, what are the other last, oh, okay, I didn't see it here. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Right. Yes, ma'am.
beautiful.
Thank you.
That's our new annual governing calendar.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Perfect. Communications, comments from board 2301. I'm gonna go with the left. Trustee Cortese.
I don't think I have anything to add right now.
Chavez, she her shaking her head. Trustee Herrera?
Nothing to say. A lot of emotion, but nothing to say.
Understood? Trustee Lay?
I just want to say that last night we had a meeting at CBOC and we did visit YB Theater. It's a beautiful building and a lot of classroom that really make me excited that to look into all of this project that we have right now in Eastside. And I want to commend bond manager Julio Lucas and his staff has done such a wonderful job, and the commitment of CBOC members. And I know that the newsletter from CBOC will send out, and they review and approve it last night. That's all I have.
Thank you. I also had the privilege of attending the tour with the CBOC. So thank you for Mr. Julio Lucas, the team, and all the volunteers at the CBOC committee. Thank you very much for your hard work. And for tonight, I know there are a lot of emotions that we all are feeling, but it's important for us, each and every one of us, to embrace two simultaneous, the need to be supportive of our community, to advance the interest in each and every one of our students, charter or Eastside. They're all each and every one of them are our students. And we want to make sure that we are in full compliance as authorizers. Both of those things are important as we move forward. And I thank the administration team for helping guiding us to move forward and be supportive of all our students. So thank you. I know it's never easy. I know it's by the time it gets to us, we think it's difficult, but all the things that staff have to go through, and I want us to be appreciative of our staff. So if you have a chance, thank the staff, Teresa and Byung and Phillips and all the team. This is a hard work, and I thank you for helping us to make the right decision for our students. So thank you for doing that. Legal counsel? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm so sorry. Comment by Mr. Vendezi. Forgive me.
Congratulations to all the student athletes that represented their schools and their families and their last names amazingly. I love that our students have the opportunity to put their last name out there and show everything that it represents. That's great. Also, we want to remind all our staff and students that the Spartan Eastside Promise is real and the due date is November 30. So pass those classes, get ready, and make sure that you apply at San Jose State before November 30th. Your admission is automatic, and then they will start reaching out to you about how to make transition to the university. Not just an opportunity, but your next step. Awesome things. Thank you.
It never ceases to amaze me that our superintendents can always remind us of the positive, the things that we do. So sometimes we take it a little too serious and so heavy. I appreciate that.
Hey, tonight's issue is serious, right? And you've got a community that understands itself very well and has real feelings about wanting to serve and understanding the strength that's there. There's also a role of authorizer, and we can work together to make sure that the outcomes we seek we can arrive at. And tonight's action does not work against the school, even though it might feel that way, but it is a call for greater and more specific actions to be taken for the long-term success of that institution.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Glenn. All right, 2401, legal counsel.
Closed session item 2.02, the board by a vote of 4-0 with member Chavez absent, voted to approve the amended expulsion of student 24-25-008. Closed session item 2.09 in the matter of Rodriguez Sheet Metal versus DL Falk Construction and the Eastside Union High School District et al. The board voted by a vote of 4-0 with member Chavez absent to authorize and ratify counsel to defend the district in the lawsuit and any similar filed stop payment enforcement action brought against the district related to work performed on the project referenced in that litigation. That counsel to be provided either by DL Falk, and if DL Falk rejects the district's tender for defense, then the defense will be provided by the law firm of DWK. There are no further actions to report.
With that in mind, it is now 10:34. We would like to adjourn the meeting.